Chapter 1337. We'll all die here. This is the dark energy. It's already corroding my life. Darkness still existed in the void outside the realm. Although there were only energy ripples surging, once one was corroded by the darkness, one's body would rapidly wither and wither. Even immortal path experts were no exception. The three Xian people were extremely terrified. There was no way out. They were all going to die here. It was truly despairing. However, they couldn't die. They had to tell their people everything that had happened here. In the end, the two Xian people joined forces and burned all the energy to blast open a tunnel. It was much better for three to die than one. Xian Huiyu was still alive, but there was still fear in her eyes. The Xian people had gone to war. So many top experts had come, but only one patriarch and she survived. If it weren't for the golden immortal seal blocking most of the dark energy, they wouldn't have survived. I'll be back. The Xian people's patriarch seemed to have lost his mind. He said angrily, Xianhuang universe, next time I come, there won't be any changes. Since the universe has been sealed, it means that there are no more experts in your world. He knew very well that the prehistoric Big Brother had killed his way into the disaster and probably wouldn't be able to return. His heart was bleeding from the crushing defeat. The Xian people were a peak orthodoxy in the immortal realm that had been passed down for billions of years. However, this kind of loss was extremely heavy. Moreover, if it weren't for the realm sea, they would have all been wiped out in this battle. Therefore, the patriarch's heart was burning with fury. There are still ants who are unwilling to give up and want to fight against fate. After the final battle a million years ago, the Xianhuang universe also changed. It's impossible for their people to produce any younger generation of geniuses. The Xian people's patriarch's eyes shone as he looked through the Xianhuang universe. He saw a young man emitting his essence, qi, and spirit. He didn't despair. He had underestimated the current Xianhuang universe. In the face of such a strong deterrent, they could still emit fighting spirit. However, this fighting spirit was so small and pitiful in his eyes. After all, any core disciple of their race could sweep through the entire Xianhuang universe. Boom! When the big crack in the void closed, the Xian people's patriarch and Xian Huiyu fled. In the mysterious yellow universe, Su Yan was keenly aware that a sinister gaze was looking at him. He clenched his fists and asked the old village chief, Senior, what should we do if they open the seal? The patriarch said seriously, Xianhuang universe. Even if they're in the immortal realm. So, you can't slack. Think of ways to increase your strength. Although there was no longer the threat of the Colossus, it was not necessarily going to be peaceful in the future. The immortals had been waiting for a long time and were about to succeed. How could they be willing to continue waiting? If this day came, Su Yan would be the powerhouse who carried the mysterious yellow universe. If they dare to come, I'll kill them all. Su Yan's aura leaked out. It was stronger than Dali's. He had a peerless and invincible belief. He was not weaker than anyone in the same realm. Su Yan, I don't have much time left. There are some things I need to explain. Senior, don't tell me. Su Yan's mind was tense. He stared at the patriarch without blinking. He really didn't want to see the patriarch pass away. Ha ha ha, silly boy. The patriarch laughed. Don't worry. I won't die. Although I'm old, I haven't reached the end of my life. I won't die in peace if I don't see you rise with my own eyes. Su Yan breathed a sigh of relief. If the patriarch was alive, he would be relieved. Even. The patriarch said, previously, I activated the Celestial Emperor's mark and received a blessing. Perhaps it's a gift from the Celestial Emperor. Su Yan was flabbergasted. It was hard for him to imagine just how great the fortune left behind by the ancient Celestial Emperor was. For the old village chief, perhaps there was hope for him to transform, perhaps he could become even stronger. Even the 1,000,000 years of slumber and the release of the immortal slaying blade gave the patriarch a great harvest. If he could endure it, he would be able to go further in the future. It's just that you know my condition. The patriarch sighed. It's bad. My life is exhausted and I don't have much time left. I have to go into seclusion immediately. It's hard to calculate the time, so I want to tell you something. Senior, please tell me. I'll do my best, Su Yen said. Our race originated from a very ancient time. We also belong to the lineage of the heavenly court. The patriarch said, 1,000,000 years ago, the celestial court's army left for war and never returned. I don't know what happened. Even now, I don't know. Without a doubt, the patriarch's ancestors belonged to the celestial court. For many years, I wanted to go out and take a look. I wanted to follow the footprints of the army and find them. But I didn't have the chance. The patriarch sighed and then said, all these years, my clan has been shouldering the heavy responsibility of guarding the 9 great immortal mountains. Beneath the 9 great immortal mountains, there is a large amount of dark matter suppressed. The patriarch said, the 9 great immortal mountains can't exist forever. They have existed for too long. Sooner or later, their energy will be exhausted. If the dark matter erupts, the mysterious yellow universe will be completely destroyed. But, the patriarch said, the posterior progenitor is different. Perhaps it has something to do with the celestial emperor. If the universe is really crippled in the future, the posterior progenitor may become the new mysterious yellow universe. Su Yen was shocked. It turned out that the posterior progenitor was related to the celestial emperor. No wonder the grand Tao of the posterior progenitor contained the supreme profound of the Origin Sutra. But what will happen in the future is really hard to say. The patriarch shook his head again and said, also, the dark matter is very complicated. Back then, they wanted to swallow the mysterious yellow universe in one go. Although the 9 great immortal mountains suppressed the dark turmoil, there are still some forces left. Inyang Road? Su Yan's heart trembled. It was really related to his speculation. Yes, but you don't have to worry. The universe's environment has returned. I used the power of the immortal mountains to erase many of their remaining forces. Not many survive. The patriarch said coldly, these dark creatures have lost a lot of their vitality. In the future, once the power of the immortal mountains is exhausted, they will resurface again. However, I have already sent people to investigate. Soon, they will find out the forces entrenched in the various major domains. East Demon? Su Yen subconsciously thought of a person. Seeing the patriarch nodding, Su Yen was speechless. In fact, he had suspected a long time ago that these dark forces had once nurtured Shuiguan. Then, it was hard to guarantee that there were no other people. It seemed that the Zhang family village and the dark forces had been fighting for countless years. The dark forces had nurtured many experts, but they didn't make any big waves. What exactly is the dark forces? Su Yan's words revealed hatred and anger. The patriarch's face was full of bitterness. He couldn't bear to see the purple-clothed woman's broken appearance. He clenched his fist and said, I don't know. When the celestial court army left, the dark forces attacked and invaded the mysterious yellow universe, causing the mysterious yellow universe to decline. They are the instigators. An immortal celestial domain was reduced to a declining small universe. Endless energy was stolen by the dark forces. What was their goal? It was too difficult to find out. Now, the prehistoric Big Brother and the Celestial Emperor's imprint had rushed into the Realm Sea. He didn't know what would happen next. Now, the Patriarch really wanted to go and take a look. Unfortunately, he didn't have the chance. He couldn't afford to lose. The Patriarch told Su Yen a lot. The Xian people were after the secrets of the mysterious Yellow Universe's evolution. But Su Yen was thinking, if the mysterious Yellow Universe was restored to the level of a great universe, would there still be hope for it to become the immortal celestial domain again? Su Yan, in the future, if you really can't take it anymore, leave. Go and take a look at the universe outside. The patriarch suddenly said weakly, the immortal celestial domain is the most prosperous and vast cultivation world. Experts come out in large numbers. You can see some of the orthodoxies that have been passed down for hundreds of millions of years. The current mysterious yellow universe is just a pond. You can't do anything here. If you have the chance, you must go out and go to the immortal celestial domain and make a name for yourself. Su Yan's mood was complicated. He also longed to go out and take a look. He even wanted to follow the footsteps of the ancient celestial court to find the destination of the final battle. He wanted to find out about himself. Patriarch, Su Yan said. He wanted to know more about the celestial court. But he found that the patriarch's breath was gradually blurring and soon returned to silence. Only a weak breath of life was flowing in his body. Then, Su Yan found that the patriarch had entered a self-sealing state. Clang, clang, the 3 fragments of the emperor weapon also fell from the sky and landed in front of Su Yan. Su Yan picked up the golden ruler. Although it was broken, it was still an emperor weapon. But Su Yan sighed. He tried to activate the emperor weapon, but his energy was like a stone sinking into the sea. He couldn't activate the emperor weapon's power. Maybe the broken cauldron, or maybe the celestial emperor's war flag are all emperor weapons, but I can't use their power at all. Su Yan thought to himself, I wonder how Tensor is doing. If he can control the emperor weapon, he might be able to use some of its power. Su Yan shook his sleeves and put away the emperor weapon. Then, he took the patriarch and the purple-clothed woman's corpse to the Zhang family village. Su Yan passed between the planetary domain and the star domain. Along the way, he caused a huge commotion. Is the battle over? Will they come again? The powerhouses of the universe had too many questions. They chased after Su Yan's footsteps all the way. But Su Yan's movements were too fast. No one could catch up. Zhang family village. They had made too many contributions to the universe, yet their race remained unknown. This was the virtue of their race. Su Yan really wanted to announce their achievements to the public so that everyone in the world would remember who had been protecting the universe all these years. But Su Yan gave up. The problem of darkness was still there. If the location of the Zhang family village was leaked, the consequences would be unimaginable. But Su Yan's dermic powers were vast. He used his divine will to inform the powerhouses of the Taoist temple to ask Kong Xian and the others to come. He was going to bury the temple master of the Taoist temple in the Zhang family village. Fairy Zixia. Su Yan felt sorrow in his heart. He thought of a woman who was buried in the crystalline soil of the Tao Hall. He hoped that the woman wasn't the temple master of the Taoist temple, but a carefree little fairy. There was a mistake in yesterday's chapter. The chapter that was finally released yesterday was not updated. I'm speechless. Chapter 1338. Su Yan saw Blacksmith as soon as he arrived at Zhang family village. There was a vague immortal potential in his sturdy physique. He was moved. Blacksmith had broken through on his own. However, he had just broken through and hadn't had the time to dig out the immortal treasure. It would take a long time and wasn't something that could be done in a day. Su Yan, how's the village chief? Blacksmith was very anxious, and so were the elders in the village. Only today did they know that the village chief of Zhang family village was such a terrifying giant. The village chief was equivalent to the universe's guardian god. Even the old Star Lord was here, waiting anxiously. The village chief is fine. Don't worry. Su Yan explained the village chief's situation. He was going into seclusion. Zhang family village had always stood aloof from worldly affairs, and outsiders didn't know that the village chief was the universe's guardian god. Therefore, it was safe for the village chief to stay in seclusion. Everyone in the village heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that the village chief was fine. They loosened their brows and felt proud in their hearts. Although it was an ordinary village, There were experts who walked out from the village to protect it from one epoch to another. Su Yen brought the old village chief to the rented house and personally set up a seal on the domain. He was a third sky of immortal realm expert. Even if an expert were to invade this place, the seal wouldn't be broken within a short period of time. Su Yen was a third sky immortal realm expert. Su Yen even set up a space-time tunnel in the domain. Once there was a threat, the space-time tunnel would operate automatically and teleport the village chief away. Night fell and the village was no longer peaceful. A group of experts from the Dao Palace had arrived. Temple Master! When they saw the purple-clothed woman's corpse, they couldn't control themselves and cried, "Temple Master!" Kong Xian and the others cried. Vice President Shang Li and the others couldn't calm down. Although the Temple Master was always elusive, he had been silently guiding them in their cultivation many times. Vice Principal Jin Yu and the others were all disciples of the Dao Palace Lord. Now that she was dead, they lost control of their emotions and couldn't accept the fact that their temple master had died. How could this be? The miser also came and roared, "How can this be? Damned darkness, ah!" The cheapskate's aura was burning, and he found it hard to let go. He had followed the Dao Palace Hall Master for a long time, and now he was about to become a sempiternal expert. But now, the Dao Palace Hall Master had fallen. Woo-woo, in the Zhang family village, the sound of crying continued. Su Yen let out a long sigh. At the same time, he told them about the relationship between the old village chief and the temple master of the Dao Temple. Only today did they know that an ordinary village chief was actually the founder of the Dao Temple. Their hearts were filled with grief, and so were the elders of the village. They had never thought that the disciple of the village chief would be the famous hall master of the Dao Hall. The old village chief from the distant past was truly a legend. The cosmic catastrophe has yet to end. Although the hall master has fallen, he is still alive. But your Dao Temple is also a lineage of the guardians of the universe. You can't remain silent like this. Su Yen said in a deep voice, "No matter what happens in the future, I hope you can pull yourself together." Boom! The cheapskate's aura was released, and silver divine light rose. Vaguely, there was a powerful immortal treasure boiling. Su Yen was not surprised. The cheapskate had experienced a complicated reincarnation cycle, and the possibility of him breaking through to the sempiternal realm was very high. Although the treasure was still quite vague and untouched, Su Yan's divine mind had already seen through it. He was happy. The future catastrophe was imminent, and Su Yen alone was not enough. So, more sempiternal experts should come out of the black-yellow universe. Blacksmith's future was set in stone, and the cheapskate also had great hope. There was even Baokai, Tensor, and Yi Yuan. Perhaps they all had great possibilities. If the black-yellow universe could have a group of immortal experts in the future, the flame of the race would definitely continue. Kong Xian said with red eyes, "Jin Yu, I'll leave the Dao Temple's future to you. I want to stay in Zhang family village. I'm already a supreme expert, and I'll focus on cultivating in seclusion in the future to break through the path of immortality." Shang Li and Jin Yu were only one step away from becoming supreme expert. Now that the universe's environment had returned with their potential, they would step into this level soon. Jin Yu shook his head and said, "The Chaos Pagoda is destroyed, and the Temple Master has fallen. I want to focus on cultivation." Vice President Shang Li's eyes fell on Uncle Kong, which made him smile bitterly. Let him be the Temple Master? Was he qualified for such a difficult position? You can decide on these matters yourselves. Don't spread the news of Zhang family village. Su Yen looked into the distance and said, "Cheapskate, come with me." Su Yen thought of a place that might be able to help the cheapskate. After all, it was too difficult to rely on oneself to break through. Blacksmith had grown up with the old village chief, and he must have been guided by the old village chief. Although the cheapskate had hope, he didn't have enough time. Therefore, Su Yen thought of a place. Now, he wanted to go there and figure out some things. Su Yen brought the cheapskate and soon arrived at the Chaos Ruins. The world had changed a lot and it was changing day by day. The essence of heaven and earth in the Chaos Ruins was also getting denser as time passed. Su Yen, what are we doing here? The cheapskate was puzzled. Maybe there's some good fortune that can help you break through. But it's hard to say now. Su Yan's eyes were deep as he thought. There were many broken universes buried in the Chaos Ruins. Then, there must be some good fortune in this place. Now that the universe's environment had returned, these broken universes would definitely appear one after another. If they found a chance to explore them, they would definitely gain something. Su Yan's current cultivation realm was at the 3rd level of the immortal realm. But he knew that he wasn't strong enough. In the immortal realm, every time he advanced to the next level, his strength would increase exponentially. The threat he would face in the future wasn't an expert who relied on external objects to break through to the immortal realm, but an overlord in the immortal realm. It was too difficult to break through this level. Therefore, if the Xian people sent such experts to the Xianwang universe in the future, would Su Yen be able to compete with them with his 3rd level of combat strength? Or, other than the Xian people, were there other forces? Really? The cheapskate turned pale. The path of immortality was too difficult. Could Su Yen really find a shortcut? Then, the cheapskate looked at the vast Chaos Ruins and whispered, Su Yen, you're now the strongest person in the universe. You're even a grandmaster of occult arts. There might be many prehistoric orthodoxies hidden in the Chaos Ruins. When I'm free, I'll look for them. The Xianwang universe even has reincarnation medicine. Maybe I can find other treasured medicines. Along the way, Su Yen didn't have time to explore. He went to the destination of Dragon City. Once again, he came to the wildland. The bloody battle of the past was still vivid in his mind. He was silent. Su Yen thought of Bamboo Moon. He had some feelings for her. When I'm done, I'll go find her. Su Yen passed through this territory and quickly approached the place where Dragon City had disappeared in the past. He tried to use his Heaven's Eye insight to find a way to enter Dragon City. The Baokai stayed in there for too long. Su Yen was a little worried. Sure enough, with his vision, he saw through some problems in the void. He should be able to blast open a path with force. Su Yen, you're here. However, Dragon 9 suddenly appeared. When he saw Su Yen, he was shocked. He gasped and said, Your cultivation. You've broken through to the immortal realm? Su Yen nodded and said, The puppet was of great help to me. Thank you for your help in the past. Ha 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 ha, it's just a small matter, a small matter. Dragon 9 was happy for Su Yen. It wasn't easy to rely on oneself to break through. He really didn't expect that Su Yen could successfully step into this level. In prehistory, he would be a peerless genius. In the future, he would definitely grow into a powerhouse who could take charge of a region. I wonder how Baokai is doing now. I'm a little worried that it hasn't come out of seclusion. Su Yen asked. Hearing this, Nine Dragon happily said, You don't have to worry. Recently, I've noticed that the good fortune substance in Dragon City's trial ground is rapidly being consumed. I reckon that Baokai will succeed soon. The day it comes out of seclusion isn't far away. Moreover, even if it breaks through, it won't leave the trial ground in a short period of time. It's not easy for Dragon City to nurture a powerhouse. We have to ensure that it has the qualifications to survive in a battle of the same realm. Iron Rooster is about to break through. Iron Rooster was shocked. This brat could actually step into the immortal realm? Su Yen heaved a sigh of relief. It was fine as long as Baokai could break through. Su Yen didn't stay here for long. After bidding farewell to Nine Dragon, he set off on his journey and soon crossed into the abyss. Arriving at the abyss again, Su Yen relied on his own strength to barge in. Along the way, he didn't stop at all. He wandered all the way and finally arrived at the place where Tensor used to be in seclusion. From a very far distance, Iron Rooster's face had already turned pale. At the distant end of time, immortal radiance pervaded the air. A divine aura surged, exceptionally majestic and magnificent. It was as if he had arrived at the palace of the ancient celestial emperors. It was like the supreme ancient immortal realms lying at the end. Rolling and dense immortal matter fell, emitting auspicious signs of the great Tao. It also carried a supreme majestic aura, intimidating the hearts of people. Su Yen, quickly look, a large amount of immortal matter is leaking out. There must be a vast amount of good fortune substance inside. This is the hope of breaking through you spoke of. Iron Rooster's voice was trembling. The immortal matter that everyone longed for was gushing out in the world ahead. Su Yan's emotions were also surging. If he could absorb a large amount of immortal matter, his strength would definitely be greatly improved. If I can absorb the immortal matter, I will definitely be able to break through to the immortal realm in a short time. Iron Rooster was very excited. Su Yen slapped Iron Rooster, causing him to feel a sharp pain in his head. What are you doing? Iron Rooster was furious. His head hurt as he said angrily, if you break it, it will be the universe's loss. Ignorant thing, calm down, don't disturb this place. Su Yen glared and reprimanded. Whether or not he could take away the opportunity in front of him was still a big problem. It was too early to be happy, lest he be stimulated after learning the truth. Iron Rooster was subconsciously startled. He hurriedly shut his mouth and didn't dare to speak nonsense anymore. The prehistoric Big Brother and the old village chief, these two hermit experts, were overseeing Xianhuang. There might be other hermit experts here. This place might be the Tao field of some major character. Chapter 1339. The first 2 chapters were wrong, but they have been corrected. Please read them later. This sacred land was like a small world left behind by the vast celestial realm. It was located in the dark starry sky. In the abyss of death, life was dried up. However, there was a vast amount of life energy in front of them. It was so spectacular that it was like a dragon glowing with life energy. It was quite ridiculous. In fact, Su Yen was also tempted. However, he was very calm and didn't show it. I wonder what kind of opportunity lies in here. I hope I can get it smoothly. Even if I can't get it, if Tai Rooster can break through, he will also be a top expert in the universe. Su Yen stared at the world in front of him. Su Yen had been here before, but he didn't see it clearly. Now, he could see that there was a unique small world in front of him. It was emitting the light of the great Tao, and it was raining divine light and immortal matter. Su Yan's eyes flashed with eagerness. The immortal matter that was raining down on its own was a huge amount of resources. It was naturally a fatal temptation for the Almighty. Immortal matter was equivalent to creation matter. It had the property of being immortal and indestructible. Perhaps this is a small world left behind by the prosperous Xianhuang universe in prehistory. Su Yen thought to himself. After all, the immortal matter in the immortal celestial domain can accelerate the cultivation of immortals. Even the heavens and earth can nurture sacred treasures that contain immortal energy. However, it can't exist in our universe. Although the Almighty can rely on immortal matter to mature their battle physique, it's still inferior. Su Yen muttered, however, if a sempiternal realm expert obtains this pocket dimension, he will definitely be able to break through consecutively. There are 9 levels in the sempiternal realm, and each level requires a huge amount of immortal substance. Who knows how long it would take to cultivate alone. However, with external help, it will be different. Let's go and take a look. Hopefully, it will go smoothly. Su Yen clenched his fist. In the past, there were 3 golden rulers that blocked Su Yan's path. Now that he had the archweapon, he might be able to break through. He was very eager for the opportunity to break through. Su Yen and Tai Rooster cautiously rushed forward. Soon, they arrived at the entrance of the small world. It was an ancient tunnel filled with a powerful pressure that caused Tai Rooster's hair to stand on end. What a terrifying tunnel! Don't trespass! Iron Rooster was sweating profusely. Even Su Yen felt a certain amount of pressure, but it was much better than the first time. Su Yen even discovered that the mark left behind by the prehistoric Big Brother had disappeared. After so many years, his mark could not be preserved for long. This made Su Yen feel regretful. How do we get in? Su Yen frowned. He didn't know what they would encounter in the tunnel. If they encountered danger, it would be quite troublesome. What are you doing? At this moment, Su Yen realized that he was being stingy. Step by step, he walked towards the ancient tunnel. Su Yan's words awakened Tai Rooster. He shuddered and stopped. He said in shock, "Just now, there was a mysterious energy in the tunnel that called out to me, telling me to go in. There shouldn't be any demons or ghosts living here, right?" Su Yen was shocked. He carefully thought about it. They had once followed an immortal medicine to this place. A true phoenix immortal medicine was worth more than a golden crow immortal medicine. A thought suddenly appeared in his mind. Could this place be similar to Dragon City's expert training grounds? I don't see Tensor. Where did he run off to? He couldn't have left the abyss. Su Yan's expression kept changing. Could Tensor have already entered the tunnel? Just while he was hesitating, Tai Rooster also couldn't make up his mind. If they encountered any danger, they would be playing with their lives. Right. Su Yen took out 3 golden rulers. The broken Emperor artifact was arranged in front of him. Su Yen didn't have the ability to revive this broken Emperor artifact. But the moment he took it out, the 3 golden rulers lit up. Vague Emperor Qi filled the air, causing the spacetime here to flicker. Su Yan's mind shook. There was a connection between the two. In the past, the Emperor artifact was floating in the tunnel. Could it be that it flew out from the tunnel? Come, let's go in and take a look. Su Yan's figure was blurry, but he soon turned into 3 people. The 3 Su Yen stood in the void. But ever since Su Yen stepped into the immortal realm, he hadn't cultivated this secret technique. Although he could turn into the 3 pure ones, his strength wasn't particularly strong. One of Su Yan's avatars walked out. He brought the Emperor artifact and entered the tunnel. Even if Su Yan's avatar died, his main body wouldn't die. The journey was very smooth, exceeding Su Yan's expectations. Perhaps because of the Emperor artifact, he didn't encounter any attacks from the mysterious world. We're finally in. Tai Rooster ran over excitedly. They quickly passed through the tunnel. When they stepped into the ancient world, they fell silent. Sure enough, the surprise from before disappeared and was replaced by disappointment. Sigh. Su Yen sighed and said, "If that's the case, this entrance is just collapsing on its own. Maybe after a long time, this ancient world will evolve into a broken universe on its own." Su Yan's gaze scanned the small world. The mountains and rivers here were dilapidated, and the sacred atmosphere was nowhere to be seen. This world was very big, especially vast. Although it emitted life energy, the amount of life energy in this small world was very limited. In fact, it was still leaking out. Although he saw the scene of the immortal matter falling from the outside world, reality was cruel. This was just the immortal matter left behind in this small world. Now that it was flowing out on its own, it was likely that after a period of time, this sacred land would lose all its value. The main reason was that this small world was protected by a great formation. Hence, the immortal matter didn't completely dissipate. Now, the immortal matter in this small world was very limited. There's someone in front. Tai Rooster cried out in alarm. He saw a figure sitting cross-legged in the dilapidated world ahead. He sat cross-legged at the peak of a huge mountain, as if he was at the peak of this small world. His entire body emitted endless light. As he breathed out, immortal matter surged and penetrated Tensor's body. Su Yen was moved. He hurriedly flew up. However, just as he was about to touch the peak of the mountain, he encountered a terrifying resistance. He couldn't fly up, but Tensor was sitting cross-legged at the peak. He even caught sight of the immortal matter surging within Tensor's body. Tensor is cultivating, accumulating immortal foundation. Although the result was relatively disappointing, Su Yen still smiled. Tensor had obtained many of the opportunities left behind in this small world. The day he came out of seclusion was also approaching. Why can he go up, but we can't? Tai Rooster was angry. He also desired this type of good fortune material. Who knows? Perhaps it has something to do with the Emperor weapon. Su Yen withdrew his gaze. He didn't wake Tensor up. He began to explore this small world. This place was too vast. As he traveled, he saw many Tao temples similar to Tensor's. However, they were too dilapidated. He didn't know if there was a chance. Even Miser Rooster didn't dare to try it rashly before he figured out the existence of the small world. They didn't know the purpose of this small world yet. Immortal medicine. A group of true phoenixes. Just as they explored the depths, Su Yen sucked in a cold breath. He saw a world in the distance. The atmosphere was divine. True phoenixes filled the sky, surging with supreme heavenly might. True phoenix creatures that lived in legends, but there was a group here. No one who saw this scene would be able to calm down. Su Yen was stupefied. There was a group of true phoenix creatures, a total of 10 to 20. They spread their wings and soared, bathed in flames. Every single one of them surged with an undying and inextinguishable aura. Legends said that true phoenixes were indestructible and could be reborn in flames. These 10 true phoenixes couldn't be determined if they were a type of supreme life form or a type of immortal medicine. In short, the discovery was too shocking. They traveled all the way, wanting to get closer to the source. They wanted to see what kind of secrets this small world held. There were actually 10 true phoenixes in captivity. He believed that even in prehistoric times, these 10 true phoenixes would definitely be peerless experts. Could it be that the glory of prehistoric times had arrived, and true dragons and true phoenixes could be seen everywhere? Or, to what extent was the other immortal heavenly domain flourishing? When Su Yen and the others approached and came into contact with this place, that thick prehistoric aura covered the sky and suppressed the earth. Su Yan's blood and qi churned, making him feel extremely uncomfortable. However, Su Yen discovered that Tai Rooster was unharmed. His body was glowing, sprinkling silver rain. Vaguely, a silver true phoenix was about to appear behind his back. Su Yen was moved. Could Tai Rooster be a true phoenix? Or could it be that there was a powerful bloodline in his body, the bloodline of a true phoenix? In the future, if his life form evolved, he could become a silver true phoenix? The aura of an ancestor. Could this really be my land of fortune? Tai Rooster's voice trembled. He caught a glimpse of the world in front of him. There was an unimaginable aura, as if it was their ancestor. This was a type of bloodline, or even the pressure of a rank, making Tai Rooster submit. Su Yen was shocked. In the world in front of him, he saw an unbelievable scene. A flock of true phoenixes was flying in the void. Soon, they arrived at a majestic palace. At the entrance of the palace, there was a figure. She stood at the entrance of the palace, unparalleled in her beauty. A woman who had existed since ancient times, suppressing the passage of time, with peerless beauty. Su Yan's soul trembled, and he couldn't calm down. He felt that this person was too strong. He even realized that he couldn't see her face clearly. Even if he did, he couldn't remember it at all. He had forgotten it completely. When Su Yen looked over a second time, he saw a flock of true phoenixes circling around the woman, dancing and crying. His heart trembled. Could this flock of true phoenixes have been raised by her? When he looked over a third time, the scene changed completely. The woman was as ethereal as an immortal. Her terrifying aura dissipated, and she was calm and peaceful. She stood at the entrance of the palace, her bright eyes like crescent moons looking at the vast starry sky. It was as if she was standing here, waiting for someone to return home. She seemed to be standing in the river of time, not moving at all. Time seemed to have stopped. Su Yen felt that a long time had passed. He even seemed to see the life of the true phoenixes begin to wither. Too much time had passed. But she still stood at the entrance of the palace, waiting for something. Chapter 1340. Su Yan's heart was in turmoil. Was this a prehistoric scene? A woman stood at the entrance of the giant palace. She had been waiting here for a long time. What was she waiting for? It was as if the true phoenix had died of old age and couldn't wait any longer. Then, her life dried up. Su Yan's heart was filled with sorrow. This was influence. The influence that originated from that woman was too far-reaching. She could influence the river of time and even affect people's hearts. Then how strong was her cultivation? Could she be an empress? Boom! Suddenly, Su Yan's feet stomped on the ground. His spiritual will erupted. In an instant, his spiritual will left the influence of the eternal scene in front of him. It's fake. The miser also came back to his senses. He was in a daze. Just now, he was worshipping the woman. But now, everything was a dream. The scene in front of him was just a scene left behind from a long time ago. It once existed, but it didn't exist now. It was just a shocking influence recorded in time and space. When Su Yen looked into the distance again, the giant palace was still there, but it looked very dilapidated and ancient. The people who used to live here were gone. There was no trace of them. Woo-woo! Suddenly, the sound of crying came. It sounded very tragic and made one's heart ache. Su Yen looked over. He noticed the true phoenix immortal medicine that he encountered in the abyss. It was crying. Its eyes rolled and fell. The miser's eyes were wide open. This was an immortal medicine, a living immortal medicine. True phoenix immortal medicine. The miser's saliva was about to flow out. The tears flowing out of the immortal medicine were also quite shocking. Rolling tears rolled down. The miser greedily collected these tears. Each tear contained shocking medicinal power. The immortal medicine is crying? Su Yen was tongue-tied. Was this still an immortal medicine? It was too extraordinary. Su Yen also felt guilty. He shook off the influence of time and space in front of him. The immortal medicine found that the woman was gone. It cried bitterly as if it had lost its most important treasure. Boom! At this time, the miser raised his wings and attacked to suppress the immortal medicine. Nonsense! Su Yan's eyes widened as he shouted, causing Miser's body to tremble violently as he fell from the sky. What are you doing now? The miserly rooster cried out miserably. However, when it raised its comb and saw the true phoenix immortal medicine again, it was given a fright. The true phoenix immortal medicine was especially shocking. Because it was frightened, it released a type of terrifying power, as if a type of indistinct emperor might was surging, making the entire starry sky tremble. It has become a spirit. What kind of monster is this? The miser trembled in fear. He was completely stunned. Su Yen was the same, but it was very timid and flew out in fright. What kind of creature is this? Unbelievable. Is it related to the great emperor? Su Yen sucked in a breath of cold air. Even if he attacked with all his strength, it would be impossible for him to stop the true phoenix immortal medicine. In fact, he might even injure it. Moreover, he had no idea just how strong the true phoenix immortal medicine was. The miser was so scared that its face turned pale. Fortunately, Su Yen stopped it just now. Otherwise, it might have been killed. Actually, even if it was an ordinary immortal medicine, Su Yen wouldn't easily offend it. The scene from before was too shocking. The previous owner of this place was not ordinary at all. Once this medicine was touched, it might involve great karma. You're asking me, but who am I supposed to ask? Su Yen glared at it and said, "This place is too complicated. Don't act recklessly. However, since there are so many true phoenix creatures here, they will be helpful to you." I fear that I won't get the opportunity and will be killed by this little bean." The miser was terrified. In fact, it knew that there was still true phoenix energy in this ruined mountain range that could nourish its body and speed up its advancement to the immortal realm. Su Yen was speechless. This little bean shouldn't hurt anyone. This is your only chance, are you going to give it up? Moreover, if you maintain a good relationship with it, you might get more. Then, Su Yen looked at the celestial medicine of True Phoenix. It had flown far away and was hiding in the clouds. It was also secretly watching Su Yen and the others. Su Yen smiled and shook his sleeve. He took out a large batch of treasured medicines and threw it over. This little bean was very afraid of strangers, but it was quite jealous of good food. It reached out its little claws to grab these treasured medicines and put them in the clouds. Since the tensor could stay here peacefully and even absorb the remnants of the fortune substance, this little bean was probably the only living creature in this small world. Su Yen was also surprised. Who was that woman? Did she leave or was she still in the palace? Just to be safe, I'll use my incarnation to cultivate here for a while. The miser was still a bit scared. He didn't want to lose his life here instead of getting the opportunity. That's good too. Su Yen nodded. His deep eyes looked at the dilapidated palace again. He clenched his fist, wanting to go in and take a look. Su Yen walked step by step towards the palace. The process was hair-raising, fearing that something unexpected would happen. When Su Yen stepped into the palace, he was relieved that he didn't encounter any danger. Tai Gongji also followed, but when they stood at the entrance of the dilapidated palace, they were all shocked. The palace was too big, it was indescribably majestic. It was like a deep starry sky and also like a vast and boundless void. There's a treasure in the palace, it seems to be a scripture. The miser was shocked. He and Su Yen discovered at the same time that there was a scripture floating in the depths of the palace. It emitted a divine radiance that was dazzling to the eyes. This scripture might be a prehistoric heavenly art, or it might be some kind of supreme secret technique. The miser's mouth was dry. He wanted to enter, but he didn't dare to because the palace gave him a fatal threat. Su Yen was also silent. He felt that if he entered the palace, he probably wouldn't be able to come back. Could it be the strongest technique in history? Su Yen said word by word. He caught the presence of the scripture, which made his one chi turning 3 pure ones and initial fist react. The miser was trembling with excitement. This was a shocking opportunity. Perhaps this was the strongest technique in the history of the True Phoenix. However, the palace was too big and difficult to enter. Su Yen wasn't confident that he could get close to the scripture. You don't want to try? The miser urged. If you enter with your clone, you might be able to get it back. Hearing this, Su Yen shook his head. We're too weak. It's hard to get close to the scripture. The miser sighed. He knew he couldn't get it, but he still wanted to try. He could only return disappointed. When I'm strong enough in the future, I'll come again. Moreover, it's hard to say what's in this palace. Su Yen's words made the miser's heart tremble. Su Yen didn't stay here for long. The creation materials here were limited. Although it could meet Su Yan's needs, Tensor and the miser needed these materials to nourish their bodies more than him. The current Xianwang universe needed immortal realm experts too much. Su Yen left the small world and prepared to go to the Emperor Road to take a look. In the past, Su Yen obtained a great opportunity from the Emperor Seed, but he hadn't studied it properly. Although it was already a useless seed, Su Yen didn't want others to take advantage of it. Su Yen crossed the abyss, step by step, and crossed the Emperor Road. He asked the Golden Maiden curiously. What was the relationship between the Emperor Seed and the Emperor Seed? It's related to the immortal path. The Golden Maiden didn't want to say more and evaded the question. Su Yen snorted. He knew that the Golden Maiden coveted the mysterious seed that he had. However, what she didn't know was that the mysterious seed had changed a lot over the years. It could even take away the creation of the Emperor's seed. Soon, Su Yan approached the Emperor Road. However, he was surprised to find that the Emperor engraved on the door of the Emperor Road had disappeared. How can this be? Su Yan's face changed in shock. If your clan can't protect the Emperor Road, you might as well hand it over. The Golden Maiden mocked. Su Yan wasn't angry. What she said was the truth. However, Su Yan sealed the Golden Maiden and soon came in front of the Emperor's seed. This seed was no different from before. However, with Su Yan's current domain, he saw a different substance when he looked at the Emperor's seed. In the Emperor's seed there was a magnificent path to heaven. It was extremely vast. It was as if those who reached the apex would become supreme. It really is related to the immortal path. Su Yan took out the mysterious seed. In the past, the mysterious seed had absorbed the substance in the Emperor's seed, but it hadn't finished absorbing it. Now, Su Yan took out the mysterious seed and let it absorb the energy of the Emperor's seed. Time passed. In a flash, 3 months had passed. Su Yan stayed in the Emperor Road for 3 months. He studied scriptures, comprehended secret techniques, and explored the immortal path's profound meaning. Time passed in the blink of an eye. However, on this day, the Emperor's seed trembled violently. Su Yan was awakened. He looked up and saw that the mysterious seed had almost completely absorbed all the energy and substance. There was less than 20 to 30% left. Now, the Emperor's seed trembled violently and emitted a bright light. It covered the vast Emperor Road world. What's going on? Su Yan was shocked. The Emperor Road was trembling. The energy fluctuations during the process were extremely shocking. This road that had been sealed for 1,000,000 years continued to penetrate and explode. It was as if it had traversed the entire void and was going to penetrate into a supreme Emperor domain. Boom! Su Yan heard a loud sound. It was very far away. He could vaguely sense the source of the commotion. The entire undying heavenly domain was vast and boundless. The big and small universes were as small as a pond in front of it. But now, the entire undying heavenly domain was trembling continuously. One after another, strange sounds shook the entire undying heavenly domain, causing huge waves. The vast undying land was boiling continuously. No one expected that the Emperor Road that had been sealed for 1,000,000 years would suddenly open. Unbelievable! The Emperor Road has opened. 1,000,000 years ago, the Emperor Road has opened. Ha ha, this day has finally come. Everyone was excited. Countless sky prides were shouting. All the undying overlords were ecstatic. This was because this year was the time for them to become famous. The undying heavenly domain was too vast. The younger generation of sky prides could shake more than 10 continents. They were peerless sky prides. But to be famous in the undying heavenly domain, only the Emperor Road could measure it. Once the Emperor Road was opened, it indicated that a big stage would rise. It would be the time for the sky prides and overlords of the various races to become famous. This was also a big stage that had been delayed for 1,000,000 years. Countless orthodoxies would be present. The Emperor Road has really appeared. The Emperor ranking has also appeared. The orthodoxies that had been passed down for billions of years were erupting with boundless waves. The Emperor ranking appeared in the sky. Those who left their names on the Emperor ranking would shake the past, present, and future. The Emperor ranking was too shocking. Those who could be nominated on the Emperor ranking would definitely bring glory to their ancestors. Emperor Road. In the distant Xian Wang universe, Su Yan's battle blood was surging. He felt a kind of calling. He wanted to join the battle and fight for supremacy. Chapter 1341. The monarch ranking appeared to be illusory, but it actually connected continents after continents. The immortal heavenly domain was vast and boundless. It was hard to imagine how many continents there were. It was almost endless. It was hard to measure the size of the immortal heavenly domain just by looking at its borders. The immortal heavenly domain was the place where geniuses rose to prominence. It was the origin of the orthodoxies that had been passed down for hundreds of millions of years. Now that the ancient Emperor Road had appeared and the monarch ranking appeared, the entire immortal heavenly domain was in an uproar. After all, the Emperor Road had finally appeared after 1,000,000 years. What did this mean? It was an earth-shattering opportunity for peerless geniuses to fight for supremacy. It was the best opportunity to make a name for oneself. The Emperor Road's grandeur was beyond the imagination of the world. It was difficult to rise to prominence in this place where geniuses fought for supremacy. Even getting into the top 100,000 was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. It was not easy to be the strongest in a continent. It was difficult to be famous across dozens of continents, not to mention getting into the even more terrifying rankings. Those who were in the top 10,000 in prehistoric times were all peerless geniuses. Now that the Emperor Road had appeared and the monarch ranking appeared, a terrifying era was coming. It shook the vast immortal land. If the geniuses of my tribe can get into the top 100,000, they will be valued by the immortal orthodoxies and be accepted as disciples. The strong tribes that ruled over an entire continent were eager to do so. However, they knew that it was too difficult. The opening of the Emperor Road would gather all the geniuses and overlords in the Golden Age. Because the Emperor Road contained great opportunities and opportunities, it was not as simple as fighting for supremacy. Ever since the black-yellow universe was sealed, the Emperor Road had been closed for 1,000,000 years. Now that it has reopened, could it be that the black-yellow universe is coming out again? There were also many old monsters that were hiding in the famous mountains and rivers who were shocked. They recalled the Emperor's aura that appeared in the void a few months ago. This was a huge matter. The black-yellow universe from 1,000,000 years ago. It was the immortal heavenly domain. Of course, the most important thing was that the immortal black-yellow universe was ruled by the celestial court. Ruling over the entire immortal heavenly domain? That was a fool's dream. In the immortal heavenly domain, one would be a supreme overlord if he could control half of it, let alone the entire immortal heavenly domain. It was impossible. But 1,000,000 years ago, the immortal dark yellow was indeed ruled by the celestial court. Of course, this was secondary. Most importantly, in the past billions of years, there had never been a second immortal celestial domain, but Xianhuang universe had done it. This was such a terrifying event. Some of the old antiques still remembered that on the day of the birth of the mysterious yellow universe, countless immortal sects had set their eyes on them, but all of them returned in defeat. Even the Supreme Emperor Road was controlled by the Celestial Court. One could imagine how glorious the Celestial Court was. However, millions of years ago, the mysterious yellow universe suddenly transformed and collapsed. The world wanted to know the secret of the evolution of the mysterious yellow universe and the treasures of the Celestial Court. The Emperor Road has appeared. In the core zone of the majestic undying heavenly domain, there were various immortal sects and Tao orthodoxies that had existed for billions of years. Any one of the successors that walked out from these sects would be invincible under the heavens. However, in these millions of years, it was really hard to determine who was better. Now that the Emperor Road had appeared, it was a great opportunity to determine who was better. Everyone wanted to be the best and be respected throughout the ages. The origin of the Xian people, the supreme orthodoxy of the immortal celestial domain, was shrouded in gloom among the upper echelons of the race. They were the only ones in charge of the mysterious yellow universe after its birth. However, the appearance of the Emperor Road had crushed their ambitions of dominating the mysterious yellow universe. This was not what they wanted to see. Moreover, the problem was that the powerhouses of their race had once again rushed into the mysterious yellow universe. However, the dark matter still existed in the outer regions of the mysterious yellow universe. It would take a long time for it to dissipate. Their race did not dare to act rashly. They would have to wait for several years. Bastard! Xian Huiyu was furious and scolded the ancestral hall master. How did you do your job? The intelligence was wrong one after another. Otherwise, our race would not have suffered such a great loss. 2 of our great ancestors have died in battle. You can't absolve yourself from the blame. The ancestral hall master trembled in fear. The great figures of the Cien people were angry. This made him feel uneasy. He did not expect the Cien people to fail and lose so many powerhouses. Their emperor weapons were also damaged. Of course, losses were losses. However, the problem was that they did not gain anything. They would have to wait for several years. Most importantly, the mysterious yellow universe was sealed. It was still a big problem for them to break through. Great ancestors, please calm down. The ancestral hall master smiled bitterly and said, I did not expect the mysterious yellow universe to have hidden powerhouses. However, I have something important to report. It's very important. Important. Xian Huiyu's face darkened slightly and said, How important is it? Tell me about it. The ancestral hall master's primordial spirit flew out. His entire soul was violently distorted. The ancestral hall master endured the pain and finally cracked his primordial spirit. Xian Huiyu was shocked. His primordial spirit was about to shatter and his life was in danger. What was stored in his primordial spirit? What was the ancestral hall master hiding? Boom! Suddenly, a small white jade cauldron flew out of the ancestral hall master's shattered primordial spirit. A mortal artifact? Xian Huiyu was surprised. This was an ordinary mortal artifact. What was stored in it? However, when the small white jade cauldron opened and a cloud of black mist floated out, Xian Huiyu's eyes widened. He did not know why, but there was a kind of fear in his heart. There was a kind of oppression and a desire to submit. The great figures in the hall discussed spiritedly. What was that substance? They could not see through it. However, the entire hall froze in an instant because the hall was sealed. Figures with terrifying auras rushed in one after another from the distant world. They sat in the chaotic immortal light as if they were splitting the world apart. Xian Huiyu was shocked. 2 great ancestors who had not come out for a long time had come out. What was that black mist? Where did you get it from? The 2 old ancestors of the Cien people, who had lived for a long time, were shocked when they saw the black substance. They were not familiar with this substance, but when they sensed it carefully, they realized how terrifying it was. The ancestral hall master did not dare to hide anything and explain the ins and outs of the matter clearly. The 2 great ancestors were incomparably shocked. It was taken from a child's body? This was a bit ridiculous. This substance was so strong that even they could not see through it. How could it be in a child's body? The ancestral hall master naturally would not forget Su Yen. He would not forget him even if he turned into ashes. This was the black mist that the heaven-refining cauldron had taken from Su Yan's body. He could not see through it and could not refine it. Therefore, he felt that it was not a small matter. He had been thinking about Su Yen for more than 100 years and wanted to capture him back to the tribe for questioning. However, he had failed repeatedly. In the end, Su Yen had even become an undying overlord and almost killed him. How could he, the ancestral hall master, forget Su Yen? What substance is this? The great ancestors went to the ancestral court. Xian Huiyu was also stunned. The ancestral court of the Cien people had many Cien people's ancestral court. They had existed for an unimaginable amount of time. Only when a crisis broke out could no one disturb their meditation. However, the 2 great ancestors of the Cien people did not hesitate and went directly to the ancestral court. After half a day, Xian Huiyu sensed that the ancestral court was in turmoil. This was the instability of the great ancestors' minds, which affected the heavens and earth. When night fell, the Cien people's ancestral court was dazzling. The 3 great ancestors descended on the ancestral court again and said to the ancestral hall master solemnly, "You've worked hard for the past 1,000,000 years. You've made great contributions, and the tribe will not mistreat you. We can help you achieve the immortal path. Also, if you have any requests, please tell us. What? Thank you, great ancestors! The ancestral hall master was shocked. Then, he knelt on the ground and shouted. He was so excited that his body started trembling. He was very old, and it was too difficult for him to achieve the immortal path. There was no hope at all. However, if the great ancestors of the Cien people were to help him and use up endless resources, he would definitely be able to reach the immortal path and touch the magnificent path of the immortal path. Great ancestors, now that the Emperor's road has manifested, our tribe has endless resources, but some of them. Xian Huiyu frowned and asked through voice transmission. Was the tribe's decision too hasty? It should be made by the tribe's meeting. It was too difficult to touch the path of the immortal path. If they were to rely on resources, it would cost a lot. The Xian people had many geniuses, but there was a limit to the number of immortal path experts. It was especially difficult for the immortal realm cultivators to touch the path of the immortal realm. They would need a lot of resources to build the path of the immortal realm. Ha 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 ha! The three great ancestors laughed and said, "What's a little bit of resources? How can it be compared to the supreme overlord of our tribe, the supreme of the monarch ranking?" What? Xian Huiyu was trembling from the bottom of her soul. The supreme of the monarch ranking. How terrifying was that? How shocking was that? Even though she believed that the Xian people were strong, how could the supreme of the monarch ranking be so arrogant? In the immortal heavenly domain, the great immortal sects had nurtured their top geniuses. There were also ancient experts who explored the void and nurtured their disciples. Even the giants who were strong enough to intimidate the immortal sects had their own disciples. How could the supreme of the monarch ranking make such a conclusion so easily? Could it be that the leader of the Hall Daozu's resources could help the supreme overlord of the Xian people reach the supreme of the monarch ranking? As a matter of fact, the three great ancestors found it hard to believe as well. However, the primogenitor said that the resources were too precious and should not have appeared. Even he could not figure out how great the opportunities were. Supreme of the monarch ranking? The leader of the ancestral hall was stunned. No wonder the resources would help him achieve the path of the immortal realm. The leader of the ancestral hall was even more excited. If the supreme overlord of the Xian people had such an achievement, how could he mistreat him in the future? Ha ha ha, Su Yan's failure and Su Yan's success. The leader of the ancestral hall laughed furiously in his heart. Su Xianren, oh Su Xianren, even if you don't die in the future, you won't be hiding in a small place. You will never be able to witness the true meaning of glory and prosperity. The leader of the ancestral hall was overjoyed. The primogenitor must have come to a conclusion, or else he would not be so sure about the potential of the resources. Do you think there are other resources in this material? It was obtained from a child's body. Even if the child grew up and unearthed the immortal potential on his own, did he get the help of this material? Impossible. The primogenitor of this material has already come to a conclusion. Even immortals can't unearth the potential of this material. It's impossible for this child to have absorbed this supreme material. No matter what, we have to be on guard. When the dark matter in the black-yellow universe dissipates, we will send our elites to capture this child and bring him back to the tribe. Most importantly, we have to figure out how he got it. The ancestral masters of the Xian people could not calm down. They had wanted to figure out the secret of the black-yellow universe's evolution, but something even more terrifying had happened. How could they be more excited? The supreme of the monarch ranking was too terrifying. In the Emperor Road, a figure was sitting cross-legged. Su Yan's eyes looked into the depths of the Emperor Road. He felt a strong calling, as if it wanted to send him over to participate in the battle. Su Yan clenched his fist. The Emperor Road was about to open. Chapter 1342. Su Yan unlocked the seal and pulled the Golden Maiden out of the spacetime treasure. She was shocked, and her golden eyes were wide open. What? The Emperor Road is about to open. She was wearing a golden armor, and her snow-white skin was sparkling. Her curvaceous figure was graceful and graceful. Her figure was perfect, and her pair of snow-white long legs were smooth and delicate. The Golden Maiden's figure had the golden ratio. Her chest was full, her waist was slender, and her legs were long. Her height was almost the same as Su Yan's, and her aura was even more noble. She had a head of golden hair, and even her pupils were golden. It was hard to imagine what kind of clan this Golden Maiden belonged to. She was so noble. The reason why Su Yan let him out was because he wanted to know what was the connection between the signs that had happened in the Emperor Road. It's been 1,000,000 years, and the Emperor Road is finally about to open. The Golden Maiden's towering chest rose and fell violently. It was obvious how she was feeling. She said, "My lord has been looking forward to it for so many years, and he must be very happy now. With my lord's strength, I'm sure he'll be able to rank among the top 3. Why not first?" Su Yan sat cross-legged, looked at the Golden Maiden calmly, and asked, "I see that you're quite respectful of the expert behind you. This person must be powerful." "Of course," the Golden Maiden said proudly, and her eyes flashed with reverence. Then, she whispered, "Why not first? What are you talking about? Do you know what the Emperor Road is? Even if it's ranked among the top 3, it's already a supreme honor." "How high?" Su Yan was surprised. You won't know even if I tell you." The Golden Maiden glanced at Su Yan and shouted, "This is just a universe pond. You don't understand how vast the outside world is." Bam! Su Yan's slap landed solidly on the Golden Maiden's perky buttocks. Although she was protected by the golden battle armor, Su Yan's strength was astonishing. In an instant, a soul-stirring ripple was created. "What are you doing?" The Golden Maiden was shocked out of her wits. Her face was full of shame and anger. She was so angry that she was trembling all over. Her buttocks were burning hot. She clenched her teeth, and her beautiful eyes were spitting fire. "Come into my arms." Su Yan glared at her. "Damn it." The Golden Maiden gritted her teeth and said angrily, "The opening of the Emperor Road and the appearance of the Emperor Leaderboard is an eternal glory. Those who participate will affect the vast space and time. Even the cultivation space and time of your Xianhuang universe will have countless sky prides participating. The number of participants will be terrifying and unimaginable. However, it's different in this era. The Emperor's Road has been sealed for 1,000,000 years. Once it's opened, you can imagine what kind of a storm it will cause. Some of the young overlords of the various tribes have sealed themselves for 1,000,000 years. Moreover, they have been accumulating for 1,000,000 years. Just by relying on their immortal sex alone, they have already produced countless experts. Therefore, this generation is the strongest storm. Not to mention being in the top 3, even the top 10,000 would be extraordinary talents. Let alone the legendary supreme of the monarch ranking. The Golden Maiden's eyes shone with divine light. She was in disbelief. Once the Emperor Road's strongest contender began, what kind of competition would happen? After all, the undying heavenly domain had produced many outstanding talents in each generation. Even the immortal sex that had been passed down for 1,000,000 years could not be compared to them. The great waves would wash away the sand. Those who remained until now would definitely be the overlords who had shocked the world. "Will there be opportunities in the Emperor Road?" Su Yan asked again. Of course, as soon as the Golden Maiden said that, she saw Su Yan raising his palm again. She was so frightened that she trembled. Her noble demeanor was gone, and she was like a charming little maid. She said in a low voice, "There will be opportunities. It's very shocking. However, only those who have entered the depths of the Emperor Road are qualified to enjoy it. The Emperor Road's entrance is here. If it's moved to the outside world, when will it open?" Su Yan subconsciously felt that this opportunity was too shocking. Countless orthodoxies were fighting for it. Even the prehistoric Xianhuang universe was fighting for it. Therefore, the weight of the Emperor Road was too shocking. If he wanted to go further in the future, he would have to take a trip to the Emperor Road. Most importantly, he would have to witness the geniuses of the world. You want to go? The Golden Maiden's eyes narrowed slightly. However, she did not dare to talk nonsense. She said, "It's hard to say how long it will take. If you can survive and cultivate the indestructible golden body, there might be hope for you to enter the top 10,000. If you can cultivate the indestructible golden body to the realm of great success, you might be able to compete for the top 100. The Golden Maiden's expression was solemn. She felt that Su Yan had a chance. However, cultivating the indestructible golden body to the realm of great success? That was a fool's dream. Even if he had the support of an immortal orthodoxy, it would be extremely difficult to cultivate the indestructible golden body. It seems that you want me to survive? Su Yan smiled. The Golden Maiden was annoyed. She did not forget about the bet with Su Yan. However, she did not dare to look down on Su Yan. She was afraid that he would mess things up. Her butt was still burning, and her heart was full of shame. She had not forgotten her identity. She was just Su Yan's prisoner. Emperor Road. Su Yan's tone was deep. He glanced at the depths of Emperor Road. Then, he suppressed and sealed the Golden Maiden again. He then left and walked out of the abyss. There's really not much time left. Su Yan took a deep breath. He went to the Sky Bamboo lineage, and came quietly. He wanted to see Bamboo Moon. Su Yan, you should leave. I don't have much time left. I want to pass on what I've learned to Bamboo Moon as soon as possible. Time is too precious now. The giant bamboo's voice came, and Su Yan sighed slightly. He bowed to the Sky Bamboo Mountain and quietly left the Sky Bamboo lineage. Next, after a long time, the black-yellow universe gradually calmed down. It's been a year. Time flew. A year had passed since the end of the catastrophe. However, the scene of that day was still vivid in the minds of the people. The black-yellow universe was very peaceful. There were no ripples. The young powerhouses were all cultivating hard to become immortal. They wanted to become immortal. In a year, the black-yellow universe had changed greatly. The universe had expanded by more than 10 times. The essence chi of heaven and earth was abundant. Cultivation was much easier than a year ago. The universe's space-time had also nurtured many sacred pure lands. Unfortunately, the black-yellow universe was still broken. It could only be said to be a broken universe that was difficult to heal. A treasure medicine that breeds immortality. One day, in an incomplete universe, a loud laughter echoed. During this time, Su Yan had been exploring the universe's secret realms hidden in the Chaos Ruins. He found many prehistoric orthodoxies and inheritances and excavated many universe secret realms. However, 99% of the resources were of limited value to Su Yan. What he wanted were resources that could accelerate his growth. Su Yan had not been idle these days. He cultivated hard and explored the Chaos Ruins, hoping to dig out something good. However, his strength improved too slowly. Su Yan estimated that he would only break through one level. If he relied on himself to absorb the energy of heaven and earth and stimulate the body's treasure to open. At the very least, it would take him 10 years to break through one level. Moreover, the further he advanced into the immortal realm, the more energy he would need. The time he would need would increase by several times or even more. Su Yan could not afford to wait. Therefore, he could only explore the broken universe hidden in the black-yellow universe, hoping to dig out some treasures. On this day, Su Yan opened a broken universe. His mind was in turmoil. There was still some immortal energy left behind from prehistoric times. Although it was very thin, it was a great treasure to Su Yan. Moreover, what made him even more excited was that he had dug out 3 stalks of treasure medicine that contained immortality. The 3 stalks of treasure medicine surged with immortality energy. Su Yen could capture the immortal energy within them. He did not hesitate and directly swallowed and refined each stalk of treasure medicine. With each passing day, Su Yan's aura strengthened a little. He had completely refined the 3 stalks of treasure medicine and even absorbed the energy of this broken universe. Su Yen felt that he was very close to the 4th level of the immortal realm. Breaking through is too difficult. Su Yen shook his head slightly. It was not easy to find these 3 stalks of treasure medicine. He hoped that they could help him break through to the 4th level of the immortal realm, but in the end they were still lacking. If it was the immortal heavenly domain, it would not be difficult to find these treasures, right? Su Yen thought inwardly. He was not discouraged. He continued to search and excavate. He believed that these broken universes would definitely bring him some surprises. 3 months later, Su Yen explored another prehistoric Tao orthodoxy and excavated a large number of scriptures. These scriptures would be of great help to Su Yan's cultivation. In addition, he sent some scriptures to the Zhang family village, hoping that they would be helpful to the blacksmith. In fact, Su Yen also wanted to obtain a chance to improve quickly in the strongest training ground. Unfortunately, he did not have the chance. The strongest training ground was not suitable for Su Yen to explore at the moment. Unless he cultivated to the 9th level of the immortal realm, he would be able to explore the strongest training ground and obtain the opportunities left behind. Another few months passed. Su Yen was very excited. He found a powerful Yuan spirit treasure book. Moreover, it contained a Yuan spirit killing secret technique. Soul Falling Bell, Immortal Secret Technique. Su Yen beamed with joy after studying the Immortal Realm Yuan Spirit Secret Technique. This secret technique was extremely powerful. After cultivating it, he would be able to unleash the combat strength of Su Yan's Yuan spirit. Time flew by. Su Yen searched for treasures all over the world. Su Yen found another 5 stalks of sacred treasure medicine that could nurture immortality substances. His strength had reached the 4th level of the immortal realm. His foundation was very solid. He had also grasped the essence of the one spirit transforming into 3 pure ones. Now that he had transformed into 3 pure ones, the 3 Su Yen searched for treasures all over the world. There was no need to mention how fast he moved. He was about to flip the entire primal chaos ruins upside down. On this day, Su Yen discovered a domain with an ancient aura. His expression changed. His 2 clones, who were searching for opportunities in other places, returned at lightning speed. The 3 Su Yen clones looked solemn as they looked ahead. Devil Fog, Dark Matter. Su Yan's face was gloomy. The devil fog in front of him was surging in the incomplete universe. It made him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. However, Su Yen could not let his 3 clones take the risk of entering the area at the same time. The first clone walked out and charged forward with the immortal binding rope. The devil fog could devour a person's life force. However, the devil fog here was relatively thin. Su Yen was confident that he could resist the dark matter. Let me try out a new immortal secret technique that I have learned. He explored the entrance of the universe's secret realm and inspected the dark matter lingering around the entrance. His body instantly blazed. Once his aura of the 4th firmament of the immortal realm erupted, it shook the heavens and the earth. His palm also rose and formed a seal. This was an immortal secret technique that he had obtained, the sky-splitting seal. This seal contained extremely strong destructive power. It tore through space and time. The moment his hand struck, the seal enlarged. With a rumble, it shattered the dark matter at the entrance of the incomplete universe. This, Su Yen was astonished. He originally thought that there would be a large amount of dark matter inside, and that he would need to spend a lot of effort to explore it. However, the result was beyond Su Yan's expectations. The dark matter inside was very limited. Su Yen barged in and arrived at the incomplete universe. However, when he arrived, Su Yen was shocked. His heart was torn apart. How is this possible? He was quite shocked. Su Yen was an expert at a very high realm. However, there was a terrifying force in the incomplete universe that wanted to destroy his body. He believed that this was the influence of the world. Just the influence alone wanted to destroy his body? Could it be that there is a supreme treasure here? Su Yen was overwhelmed with emotions. He felt that there was a great opportunity hidden here because this incomplete universe gave him a feeling that it was extremely ancient and ancient. There was even an extremely terrifying destructive force in the universe. It has existed for an inestimable amount of time. Su Yen was certain that it must have existed for a long time. There might be a great treasure hidden here. Otherwise, the Celestial Emperor's influence wouldn't have lasted until now. There might even be some incredible treasures in here. Over the past few days, Su Yen had discovered some rare supreme treasures while exploring the universe's secret realm. Some supreme treasures were nourished by the energy of a universe's secret realm. As long as he spent some time refining them, they would definitely evolve into immortal treasures. However, the universe's secret realms that he had explored before couldn't be compared to the ones here. Hence, Su Yen felt that he might have encountered a great opportunity. Dezhang, it's the beginning of the month. Brothers, please give me some monthly vote. Chapter 1343. This was a world that had existed for a long time. It possessed a shocking destructive power. This power spread through every inch of space. Su Yen, who had barged in, found it difficult to breathe for a moment. The destructive power contained a shocking pressure. Even if an absolute mighty being were to enter by mistake, they would be crushed to pieces in a single blow. This place could be considered a small forbidden zone for life. However, it wasn't a problem for Su Yen, who was a fourth firmament immortal realm expert. His body was strong enough to resist the destructive power that permeated the world. Su Yen walked between the heavens and the earth, continuously exploring. Due to the destructive power, Su Yen couldn't explore a large area with his mystical gate secret art. Now, he could only explore the territory carefully. His mind was on high alert. He didn't dare to be careless. Although it was a clone, if it was damaged, it would take a long time for his main body to recover. It might even consume a lot of natural treasures. I really can't afford to be injured, Su Yen sighed. He recalled his past self. Even if he was severely injured, he could recover as long as he had enough resources. However, he couldn't afford to be reckless now. The resources of the Xianhuang universe couldn't satisfy Su Yan's needs. The world here has endured such a strong destructive power, yet it hasn't collapsed. This place is truly extraordinary. Su Yen thought to himself. He was paying more attention to this universe's secret realm. The deeper he explored, the more intense the destructive power became. Su Yen could sense the ancient, vast, and magnificent aura of this energy carefully. Even after a long time, it still hadn't dissipated. Along the way, Su Yen discovered some demonic fog in some of the lands. Su Yen was surprised. He guessed that at some point in time, a large amount of dark matter had invaded. In the end, it was completely crushed by the destructive power of this universe's secret realm. What was dark matter? Su Yen didn't know. However, it was too difficult to dispel it. However, this incomplete universe's secret realm could actually crush dark matter. This shocked Su Yen, and he became more careful. It's really getting more and more dangerous. It was as if he had arrived at the core area. The ancient power of annihilation that filled the world attacked Su Yan's corporeal body, causing him to feel a piercing pain. This looks like a sword ray. Su Yen fiercely caught hold of the substance contained within the power of annihilation. He was immediately suspicious in his heart. Could this be the Tao field of some ancient powerhouse? Su Yen rampaged the entire way. His powerful physique released exuberant blood essence and sealed his pores to prevent the destructive power from invading his body. Time flew by. Su Yan had been exploring the small world for 3 days, but he still hadn't reached the end. He hadn't encountered any opportunities along the way. Su Yan's expression became more and more solemn. The power of annihilation was getting stronger and stronger. Su Yan was now in his strongest state. Even his body felt piercing pain. The astonishing power of annihilation was like a heavenly sword, constantly slashing at Su Yan's body. Because he had been stimulated for such a long time, Su Yan felt as if his indestructible golden body was about to be reactivated. I can't enter the indestructible golden body state right now. Once I'm stimulated into a combat state, I will inevitably lose a great deal of my bodily functions. It will take several months to recover. Su Yan furrowed his eyebrows. He released his aura to the fullest. Immortal energy rushed out from his body and revolved around Su Yan's body, making him look like a golden god crossing the world of annihilation. Soon, Su Yan felt as if he were approaching the source. This was because the power of annihilation that surged between the heavens and earth had almost turned into tangible matter. It was like sword embryos that cut through the void, bringing with it a terrifying aura that came crashing down. This strength had existed for an extremely long time. But for it to be able to affect the world until now, it must be extremely astonishing. This power of annihilation that was similar to a sword ray seemed to possess its own consciousness. It contained the power of the great Tao of annihilation and was able to pulverize all living matter. Boom! In the depths of the world of annihilation, monstrous waves surged out. Su Yan was erupting with power. He was crossing the world of annihilation, but he encountered the power of annihilation that filled the sky. Therefore, he erupted with his peak combat strength, pushing the power of annihilation that filled the sky as he crossed step by step towards the destination. The deeper he went, the greater the danger he would encounter. When Su Yan approached the source, all the hair on his body stood on end. The world of annihilation seemed to have evolved into monstrous sword rays that contained a terrifying self-consciousness. Layer after layer, they began to slash towards Su Yan. Bang! Su Yan raised his fist and threw a punch. Blood spurted out of his fist as soon as they met face to face. His bones were stung by the shattering sword Tao. "Open for me!" Su Yan roared. His long black hair danced in the wind. His entire body surged with the power to split the sky. It was as if he had turned into a large seal, surrounded by immortal energy, evolving the space-splitting seal. Pung! A loud explosion sounded. The splitting sky seal, that Su Yan's body had transformed, directly collided with the sword light that was surging towards him. In an instant, the void exploded and the sword light that filled the sky was also uniformly shattered. But Su Yan's body spilled blood, and numerous sword wounds appeared on his body. He was shocked and moved. It was just the remnant influence, and yet it had caused such damage to him. It was hard to imagine what sort of person left behind such damage. Fortunately, it's only some superficial wounds. Su Yan stood tall between heaven and earth. His body flowed with exuberant vitality, nourishing his wounds. In this land of annihilation, there were broken walls everywhere. Without a doubt, these were the collapsed buildings of the past. It was difficult to determine how long they had existed. Time had erased everything. Many buildings had turned to dust, and it was impossible to estimate how vast these buildings used to be. Moreover, there were still remnants of dark matter in the world. It was very thin, and it could collapse at any time. In this ancient world, the light was dim. The power of annihilation still existed, but it was difficult for it to threaten Su Yan. In fact, he had already locked onto the source of the aura of annihilation. Su Yan was filled with anticipation as he hurried towards his destination. Right now, he longed for a lucky chance. He needed to become stronger, and the faster the better. As Su Yan approached his destination, he was shocked. In front of him, on a broken Tao platform, he saw a skeleton. The power of annihilation that affected the entire world came from this skeleton. It was hard to believe. A skeleton emitted an aura of annihilation that obliterated the dark matter. At this moment, Su Yen could confirm that this skeleton was extremely powerful when it was alive. It must have surpassed the old village chief, but as for how strong it was, that was still unknown. This skeleton had long since been torn apart. Its skeleton was scattered over the broken Tao platform. A vague aura rose from it, affecting this world. Su Yen took a deep breath. He walked towards the skeleton. He did not know if he would gain anything. However, just as Su Yen approached the skeleton, his footsteps stiffened. Even his entire body stiffened. A cold aura emanated from his body. It was as if it wanted to touch Su Yan's soul. How is this possible? Su Yan's breathing almost stopped. His eyes were filled with shock. Because he found that the skeleton seemed to be breathing. There was a weak life force spitting out? What kind of joke was this? This person's flesh and blood had evaporated. His skeleton was also broken and scattered on the broken Tao platform. But could it be that he was still alive? There was still life force? Inconceivable! Su Yan's eyes widened. He felt a chill in his heart. Should he leave or stay? Only the heavens knew if this skeleton would come back to life and return. In the end, Su Yen gathered his courage and stayed. He patiently observed. After what seemed like an entire day, Su Yen once again heard a weak breathing sound coming from the skeleton. He was shocked. Was the skeleton really still alive? There was still life? Senior? Su Yen probed. After all, this was his doppelganger. If it was destroyed, at most he would lose some primordial qi. He did not receive any response. Su Yen gathered his courage and walked towards the skeleton step by step. His steps were steady. Only when he was in front of the skeleton did he realize how perverse the power of destruction surging within the skeleton was. It was as if a primordial great evil was about to shatter itself. Powerful, terrifying. Su Yen was shocked. His eyes scanned the broken skeleton, trying to find something. Suddenly, Su Yan's eyelids twitched. He saw a white bone finger move. Su Yen could not have seen wrongly. He was burning with anxiety. What should he do? Should he leave or stay? Just as he was struggling, Su Yan's eyes stung. His soul suffered a heavy blow. It was as if it was about to collapse. It's alive. Su Yan's face was filled with disbelief. He saw two balls of light rising from the skeleton's eye socket. Although they looked weak, they were so bright that Su Yan's eyes almost went blind. His head was splitting, and he felt as if his Yuan Shen and sea of consciousness were about to collapse. He did not even know why. Su Yen felt that this skeleton was even more perverse and terrifying than the prehistoric Big Brother. "Senior, who are you?" Su Yen asked. He forced himself to remain calm. He could not panic now. Even if he did, it would be useless. "Gotcha." A sound rang out. It sounded really creepy. Su Yan's heart thumped. The mouth of the skull opened and closed, as if it was saying something. A strange voice sounded. It was very ancient, very ancient. Su Yen had never heard of such an ancient language. What era was this language from? It was definitely not the language of the undying heavenly domain. How many eras had this big guy existed? The skeleton seemed to have realized that Su Yen could not understand its words. The two balls of light in its eye sockets surged with terrifying power, attacking Su Yan's soul. "Take one of my attacks, and you will receive my inheritance." This voice exploded in the depths of Su Yan's soul. Then, one of the skeleton's fingers moved. The moment the white bone finger lifted, a terrifying aura spread out. Su Yan's blood and qi churned, and blood flowed out of his mouth. He was almost sent flying. An expert, a peerless expert, unstoppable. Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind. He could not calm down. A white bone finger was enough to crush him to death. Heaven and earth exploded, unable to withstand the power of a single finger. When the terrifying destructive power swept over, Su Yan's avatar trembled violently. Suddenly, the other two avatars returned to his avatar. The moment the three avatars merged, Su Yan's aura surged. Impossible! Su Yan roared. What kind of power was this? It directly shattered his one chi into three pure ones, and the three avatars merged into one. Then, the 5 fingers moved continuously. Su Yan was in despair. What could he use to withstand its power? When the white bone hand came, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. There was no hope for him to survive. Even if Su Yan activated the immortal golden body, he would not be able to withstand it. In the next moment, the white bone hand left the tattered platform and casually grabbed a withered grass on the ground. When the grass slashed at Su Yan, the grass glowed and turned into a sword embryo, flowing with terrifying sword intent. Su Yan felt as if he saw the universe being destroyed, and the stars in the sky being cut down. This sword seemed to be able to split the sky, and it seemed to be able to kill all the immortals in the world. In an instant it slashed at Su Yan. A blade of grass. Su Yan clenched his fists tightly. If he could not withstand it, he would die. But if he died under a blade of grass, it would be the biggest joke in the world. His aura was awakened, and he stood at his strongest state. He wanted to revive the initial fist, but he found that he could not use any divine powers or secret arts. It was the skeleton on the tattered platform that stopped Su Yan from using any divine powers or secret arts. In other words, he could only rely on his own strength to withstand it. This is a great opportunity. I must seize it. Su Yan's eyes were wide open. He did not have time to think. He raised his fist and activated the body's strongest treasure. He released his power and blasted it at the blade of grass. Author's note: there is only one immortal heavenly domain in this book, and I have used some space to explain it. As for the Xianwang heavenly domain, it must be the declining Xianwang universe. Chapter 1344. A stalk of grass that was so ordinary that it couldn't be chopped down, what seemed like a ridiculous scene was actually 1,000,000,000 times more terrifying when this stalk of grass erupted. Moreover, it surged with terrifying sword intent that could destroy the heavens and earth. It was hard to imagine what kind of power this was. It was just a stalk of grass, but it had the power to turn something rotten into something magical. This method was really supreme. Su Yan's heart was filled with reverence. However, he wasn't an ordinary person. On the path of cultivation, he had experienced too many bloody storms. On the path of the transformation of life essence, he had even fought with immortal realm powerhouses and completed the evolution of life essence. Now, his potential surface was burning, and his aura was also extremely powerful. The two Dali's auras collided, and it was a clash of tit for tat. Boom! The entire void was like a piece of paper, and it was completely shattered in the midst of the destruction. Boundless sword light slashed on Su Yan's fist, causing Su Yan's fist to be torn into pieces. It was even about to be cut open. Su Yan's physical body was unparalleled, but the concept evolved from a mere stalk of grass actually damaged his flesh shell. His eyes were burning with passion, and he felt that he had encountered a great opportunity. He must seize it. I must pass. Su Yan roared, and his essence, energy, and spirit were ignited. He stood at his peak, looking down on the world. He pushed his strongest strength, and the immortal energy surged out of his body. It was like 10,000 true dragons had broken out of the cage, revolving around Su Yan's fist, and the crushing sword light was twisting and even trembling. However, this sword intent would rather break than bend, and it could destroy everything. In fact, Su Yan caught a terrifying sword intent in it, and it wanted to cut apart the immortal energy. Break for me! Su Yan's hair fluttered in the wind, and his essence, energy, and spirit were surging. The immortal matter in his body was even boiling. He swung his blood-stained fist and punched it again, causing the sword light to disintegrate in the end. However, the moment the disintegrated sword light exploded, it turned into a terrifying sword aura and rushed towards Su Yan's flesh shell. Pooh! Su Yan coughed out blood. The immortal substance around his body was cut apart. Even the immortal substance he dug out from his own treasures couldn't block the sword light's attack. After all, Su Yan couldn't use any divine ability and could only rely on his own strength. Chi. Su Yan's entire body was enduring the pain of being pierced by 10,000 swords. His entire body was about to rot. He really felt that his body was being cut apart and was about to turn into a pile of mud. But in the end, Su Yan's immortal golden body was stimulated and revived on its own. Its pale golden flesh shell glowed and was indestructible. It forcibly withstood the danger of his physical body collapsing. However, he was also heavily injured. His entire body fell to the ground, his flesh badly mangled. So strong, Su Yan coughed up blood. If he didn't have the imperishable golden body, he would have died in a single exchange. It wasn't just his physical body. Even his soul was cut by this sword. Su Yan felt that he couldn't live any longer. Although his physical body could still withstand it and wouldn't collapse due to the imperishable golden body, the injury to his soul was excruciating. If it weren't for Su Yan's powerful primordial spirit, he would have died. He wouldn't have survived. This sword was too powerful. The sword light formed from a blade of grass was enough to kill Su Yan in a single exchange. What kind of supreme art is this? An immortal realm expert can't match it. Su Yan was in unbearable pain. He felt that his cultivation path was about to be destroyed. The injury to his soul was almost impossible to heal. All of a sudden, the white bone hand flew over and touched Su Yan's forehead. Then, a strange energy scattered down. Su Yan felt as if he had been reborn. The injury to his soul was healed by the skeletal hand. The greatest danger was gone. Even the sword aura in his body dissipated completely. He felt much better. Although he was still in pain, it was no longer important. Senior, thank you for showing mercy. Su Yan endured the pain and crawled up. He respectfully bowed. He couldn't help but feel excited. Had he obtained the skeleton's approval? Could he obtain an incredible supreme art? Just the power of this sword was enough for Su Yan to feel respect from the bottom of his heart. He also desired to cultivate it. Su Yan gasped for breath. His body was covered in wounds. He looked at the skeleton lying on the broken platform. It was hard to imagine how strong it was when it was alive. It was in such a state and yet it still had a breath of life. It even used a blade of grass to form a sword intent to heavily injure itself. After a long period of silence, Su Yan was also silently recuperating. Su Yan could sense that the skeleton's life force was very weak. It could die at any moment. At the same time, the skeleton was also silent. Finally, a trace of energy gushed out from the skeleton. Its voice once again reverberated in the depths of Su Yan's soul. It is a bit weak, but it's still passable. Are you willing to give up everything you have now and switch to cultivating my great Tao? These words caused Su Yan's mind to tighten. The result was unexpected. If he wanted to cultivate the skeleton's true inheritance, he had to give up everything he had now. He even had to cultivate from the beginning. The skeleton's strength was beyond doubt. It seemed that it wanted to take Su Yan as its disciple. If he had such a giant to guide him, Su Yan's future achievements would be limitless. But it was silent. Su Yan bitterly smiled. Please forgive me for being disrespectful. There are some special reasons that prevent me from cultivating from the beginning. The thunderous voice exploded in Su Yan's soul, shaking him until he was in unbearable pain. Su Yan's words had angered him. Even the weak beam of light burning in his head was faintly blazing. Terrifying beams of light sputtered out, as if two great immortal swords had been unsheathed. They wanted to cut apart the entire space and destroy everything. There was even a kind of aura that could destroy the heavens. Senior, please calm down. Su Yen bitterly smiled. He was now the strongest person in the bound yellow universe. There were still important tasks waiting for him in the future. If he really cultivated from the beginning, the bound yellow universe would be in danger of collapse. Therefore, if Su Yen chose to cultivate from the beginning, even with the skeleton's guidance, it would take many years to recover his current strength. It would take at least a few decades or even 100 years. Of course, even if Su Yen did not care about the group, he still believed that he could become a strong person on his own path. These 100 years of growth had forged Su Yan's invincible heart. It was impossible for him to destroy everything he had now and cultivate another path. At this time, an invisible force wrapped around Su Yen and moved him to the broken platform. Su Yen did not know what kind of treasure the broken Tao platform was. As he stood on it, he could not help but erupt. Boom! The scriptures he had learned began to operate on their own. The beginning scripture was released, and the sound of the great Tao resounded between heaven and earth. He entered a state where his body was like the universe. Su Yan's series of secret techniques also bloomed on their own, including the great Tao of reincarnation in his chest. Su Yan's temperament changed. His body released wisps of primordial force that contained the power to recreate heaven and earth. It was also like a vague immortal path that surged out from Su Yan's body. As he grew stronger, he would definitely be able to enter the immortal realm in the future. The skeleton was surprised. The light burning in his head had a special mood fluctuation. The skeleton had captured Su Yan's cultivation scripture. It was extraordinary and amazing. It was as if he had seen a path to heaven. If he walked it to the extreme, it would be peerless and amazing. He was very surprised. This scripture was too extraordinary. It would be a pity if it were to be directly destroyed. In fact, he moved Su Yen to the broken platform in order to directly destroy Su Yan's cultivation. He even wanted to evolve his own supreme arts to change Su Yan's mind. But now, the skeleton saw that Su Yan's cultivation was extraordinary. Buzz! The soul flame in his head burned. When he saw Su Yan's body, he was once again shocked. He could faintly see a majestic figure behind Su Yen that was influencing him. Su Yan's mind was greatly shaken. He could also feel that this was a layer of mysterious shackles that the ancient celestial emperors had severed on his body. But now the skeleton had seen through it. How terrifying was this person's strength? Could it be comparable to the founder of the celestial court? With just a quick glance, the figure behind Su Yen disappeared. When he looked again, there was nothing. He could not see any trace of it. He did not know its origin. It was a blank space that could not be pursued and explored. Very strong. The skeleton was moved, but he also fell silent. He did not continue to look at Su Yen. You should go. You are not suitable to be my disciple. He opened his mouth once again. Although he had the means to cripple Su Yan's cultivation and make him accept him wholeheartedly as his disciple, Su Yen had no other choice. But if it affected Su Yan's future path, he was afraid that it would involve some great karma. Su Yen was disappointed. He wanted to get some inheritance, but in the end, he did not get anything. Su Yen hesitated for a moment and then said, "Senior, are you a powerhouse from the mysterious yellow universe?" Mysterious yellow universe? The skeleton was silent for a moment and then said faintly, "I have existed for too long. Maybe I am older than the mysterious yellow universe. I have been sleeping all these years, and now I don't have much time left. I am a little more awake." Su Yen was stunned and felt incredible. What era was this skeleton a powerhouse from? Could it be that his lifespan was so long that it was longer than the existence of the universe? Furthermore, with his current injuries, he was still breathing. This was truly inconceivable. "Senior, is there anything I can help you with?" Su Yen asked again. "You are too weak to help me." The skeleton let out a sigh. After a battle in the distant past, my body and mind were torn apart. I should have died, but I inherited my legacy. I don't want to die because of this. Senior, you are so powerful. What kind of enemy did you encounter? Is it related to the dark matter? Su Yan asked curiously. The skeleton shook violently, and even the broken platform was shaking. Su Yan's words touched him. The skeleton surged with a terrible destructive power, which made Su Yan almost lose his balance. Senior, Su Yan wanted to say that there were many talented powerhouses in his tribe who might be able to get his inheritance. This person's origin was too amazing. If he could get his inheritance, his future would be limitless. His inheritance might not be inferior to the orthodoxies in the immortal heavenly domain that had been passed down for hundreds of millions of years. Su Yan did not want to give up such a special and ridiculous opportunity. Moreover, with the skeleton's strength, it would be too difficult for him to kill him. Su Yan did not think that he had any ulterior motive. Suddenly, Su Yan was swept away and fell outside. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just as Su Yan crawled up, he saw withered grass descending from the sky and piercing into the ground around Su Yan. The 3 stalks of grass looked small, not even worth mentioning. Moreover, they were all withered and yellow. However, each stalk of grass was glowing, surging with the abstruse concept of the heavens. It was so profound that Su Yan's primordial spirit almost fell into it. He was shocked. The 3 stalks of withered grass, each stronger than the last. Su Yan seemed to see 3 immortal swords unsheathing, cutting off time and eternity, annihilating the heavens and destroying everything. What kind of Tao was this? How could it be so domineering? I will give you 3 years. If you can comprehend the sword will, I will teach you a supreme art. If you fail, you will die. Chapter 1345. Comprehending the sword will in 3 years. Su Yan's heart sank. If he failed, he would die. Was this a gamble? Senior. Su Yan frowned slightly and said in a low voice, If I really fail, I can go out and find a suitable disciple for you. But if I fail, I will die. How could it be so easy to comprehend the sword intent from these 3 stalks of grass? 3 years was too short a period of time. The skeleton scattered on the broken platform said in a dignified voice, You can also give up and leave this place. Cut off your memory and forget everything here. His voice was cold and brooked no discussion. Cut off my memory and leave this place. Su Yan clenched his fists tightly. His breathing was a little hurried. Although there were gains and losses, the price of failure was too great. Su Yan looked at the skeleton and then at the great Tao from the 3 grasses. Su Yan's eyes finally lit up. This was an opportunity. Although he would face death, it was worth a try. Give it a try. Do I have any other choice now? If I don't grasp this opportunity, I am destined to regret it for the rest of my life. Su Yan's eyes were filled with determination. Previously, the skeleton had used a stalk of grass to create a sword essence to test him. This was enough to show that the remarkable ability that he had imparted to him was most likely an ultimate remarkable ability that he was unwilling to die out. This was a terrifying opportunity. Su Yan felt that if he could master it, it would not be inferior to the strongest supernatural power in history. Although Su Yan had obtained the one turning into 3 pure ones and the initial fist, the one turning into 3 pure ones was a doppelganger secret technique, while the initial fist could enhance the power of a series of secret technique. The 2 secret techniques were both of the auxiliary type. Now, Su Yan was desperate to obtain a supreme killing secret technique. Although he would face death if he failed, if the Xian people came to him in the future, would he be able to defeat them with his current state? The 3 stalks of grass had evolved into incomparably shocking profoundness. Su Yan really wanted to obtain them as soon as possible. Su Yan became intoxicated, as if he had entered an endless world of swords. Inside this world, the supreme inheritance of the sword Tao was evolving. I must get it. He only had 3 years. Su Yen wouldn't waste any precious time. His mind was immersed in the supreme mysteries of the 3 stalks of grass. The world calmed down and the skeleton returned to silence. Time flew. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. It was neither too long nor too short a time. After going through the baptism of war, the mysterious yellow universe was transforming day by day, and the universe's environment had completely returned. Right now, the world was vast. Although it was an incomplete great universe, the current black-yellow universe was rich with heaven and earth essence chi and was thriving. There were fewer wars in the universe, and all races coexisted peacefully. Almost all the Almighties were exploring the immortal Great Tao. However, how could it be so easy to break through by relying on one's own strength? Amongst the younger generation, there were very few experts who could enter the Absolute Realm, let alone the Sempiternal Realm. However, on this day, in the vast universe, the mighty might of the immortal Great Tao shocked all the races in the world. Anyone could see that in the depths of the universe, a tall and sturdy man had erupted. He defied the heavens and broke through to the Sempiternal Realm. This scene shocked the entire world. Immortal! The second immortal has been born. The entire world was in an uproar. In the new era, Su Yen was the first immortal Great Tao expert. Now, Blacksmith was the second immortal Great Tao expert. Then, in the future, there would definitely be a third, or even a fourth, immortal Great Tao experts can break through. Even if they don't compete with the immortal Great Tao expert, they can still explore the immortal Great Tao. However, they have to go through the cruel tempering of life and death. Many young people worked hard and longed for the immortal Great Tao. They wanted to cultivate to this stage. This was the transformation of the essence of life. They were no longer on 2 different levels. One studied the Great Tao, while the other studied the immortal Great Tao. A large number of experts from various great sects came to pay their respects. Now, Su Yen was nowhere to be seen. They longed for some experience in breaking through to the immortal Great Tao. However, Blacksmith smiled bitterly. Other than relying on themselves to explore the essence of life, there was no other way. Even Su Yen couldn't do it. Su Yen didn't come. Where did he go? Is he still searching for the treasures in the Chaos Ruins? Let's hope he has some gains. Blacksmith was surprised. He hadn't seen Su Yen for more than a year. He was worried. He knew that Su Yen was digging for treasures in the Chaos Ruins, and was really worried that something unexpected might happen. Although Su Yen had mastered the One Chi into 3 pure ones, if his avatar died in the universe secret realm, his main body would naturally suffer a great loss. This would be a great loss to the universe. A year's time was just a snap of the fingers for Su Yen. For an entire year, he was immersed in the Sword Tao's essence of the 3 stalks of grass. His spirit and will seem to have fallen into a world of swords. The sky was filled with endless sword light. It was impossible to count how many there were. There were also all kinds of terrifying intents surging within. These weren't the intents of humans, but the intents of swords. This was sword intent. Humans had spirit and will, but if a sword erupted with spirit and will, it would be extremely terrifying. It was especially so for humans. If they wanted to comprehend sword intent, it would be extremely difficult. Back then, the old village chief killed an immortal with 1 slash. How stunning was that? That was the saber intent that the old village chief comprehended. It was overbearing beyond compare. At the same time, his moves were also incomparably unyielding. He almost lost his life, and even the old village chief's saber was destroyed. Su Yen wasn't proficient in the Sword Tao, so he didn't get involved in this series. It was even more difficult to comprehend sword intent. He didn't walk the path of the Sword Tao. However, Su Yan's initial sutra was all-encompassing and included all great Taos. Even the Sword Tao was no exception. It wasn't difficult to comprehend a great Tao. However, it was difficult to comprehend the essence and evolve sword intent. In a year's time, Su Yen didn't gain much. Although he was influenced by sword intent every day, he had a feeling that he didn't know where to start. How do I enter the Tao? Su Yen murmured. There were only 3 years, and now a year had passed. In the process, the skeleton didn't give Su Yen any pointers at all. He walked his own sword Tao. If he wanted to cultivate his absolute art, it wasn't something that could be learned just by talking about it. On this day, Su Yen suddenly quivered. His thoughts returned from the 3 stalks of grass sword intent. He recalled the test that the skeleton gave him previously. The sword intent evolved from a stalk of grass had almost killed him. Using the body as a sword. Su Yen grasped the key point. He kept recalling the sword he encountered a year ago. He carefully savored and explored it. Previously, Su Yan's soul was severely injured. Although the sword wound was wiped away, now that he seriously explored it, he could capture the sharpness and peerlessness contained in this sword. 3 days later, a terrifying sword beam soared through the sky. This was the aura that was surging from Su Yan's soul. Sword beams surged out one after another. Su Yan's aura soared imperceptibly. He seemed to have turned into a sword embryo, piercing through the sky. It contained an unbending aura, and its sharpness leaked out. This is the sword, Su Yen secretly said in his heart. He had found a way to comprehend sword intent. He didn't feel happy. He calmed down and took out his universe weapon. In the past, Su Yen had tempered his universe weapon into a heavy killing weapon. Now that he was in the immortal realm, Su Yen was ready to start nurturing his sword. As long as there was enough time, it wouldn't be difficult for his universe weapon to evolve into an immortal realm true treasure. Although the universe weapon has enough potential, it lacks sharpness. Even if I nurture my universe weapon into an immortal realm true treasure, I still lack a sword soul. What is a sword? Su Yen asked himself. He triggered the sword intent of the 3 stalks of grass and penetrated his body. It even penetrated the universe weapon. It was cold and piercing to the bone. It could even shatter one's soul. This was sword intent. It could pierce one's soul and even cut one's Tao heart. Could really be called a killing technique. Su Yen was in the immortal realm now and had completed the transformation of his life essence. However, the sword intent of the 3 stalks of grass could cut through time and space as if it was cutting through time and space. Chi. Su Yen began to evolve his own sword domain world. His body was like the universe, and what he respected was himself. He used his body to form the Tao and could also evolve the endless Tao in the world. Now, Su Yen had guided the sword intent of the 3 stalks of grass into his body. His aura was changing. Sometimes it was sharp, sometimes it was as deep as the abyss, and sometimes it was overbearing. There were many types of sword intent. It also depended on one's state of mind. Su Yen was looking for a suitable sword intent path. Time flew by quickly. In the blink of an eye, another year had passed. More than half of the 3-year agreement had passed. Su Yen was calm. He wasn't anxious at all. He felt that he was very close to success. The sword intent evolved by the 3 stalks of grass was unfathomable. It was extremely difficult to comprehend all the profoundness. However, the primordial scripture seized the fortune of heaven and earth and was all-encompassing. Su Yen could search for his own sword Tao within it and dig out a path that was more suitable for him. This inheritance is extremely difficult. If I didn't master the Initiation Sutra, I wouldn't be able to comprehend the sword intent of the 3 stalks of grass even after 3 years, let alone 3 years. These 3 stalks of grass contain boundless sword intent. How talented must I be to be able to quickly organize my own sword Tao? Su Yan's face revealed a smile. He was very close to success. Boom. A month later, Su Yen was immersed in the world of sword Tao and couldn't extricate himself. However, he heard a strange fluctuation. Although it wasn't violent, when Su Yan heard it, it was like millions of thunderbolts were exploding in his heart. 1. A mark appeared on Su Yan's forehead. This was the awakening of the profound yellow mark. It was flowing with the light of the universe. The mark was closely related to the universe. Now, the mark was vibrating on its own, sending out a warning sound. Su Yan, who was immersed in the sword Tao, suddenly woke up. This is bad. Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened. There were wisps of cold air in his body. His eyes were extremely sharp. Could it be that they're here? Su Yan clenched his fists. He could sense that the seal outside the universe was vibrating. This was a sign that it was about to be torn apart. Now that the mark was warning, it meant that the universe was in danger. The Xian people were definitely here. They had returned in defeat and suffered heavy losses. How could they give up so easily? Now that they were here, they must be well prepared. They might be able to quickly open the seal set by the Celestial Emperor's war flag. In the outer space, a large number of Xian people had arrived. They were entrenched outside the profound yellow universe. The dark matter in this void had almost completely dissipated. It didn't have much effect on them. They tried to break the seal, but their first attempt ended in failure. Xian Huiyu said coldly, "Don't worry. Take it slow. We'll find a loophole in the formation sooner or later. As long as we send a few Immortal Realm experts into the profound yellow universe, we'll be able to capture Su Yan and bring him back to the Xian people." How strong could Su Yan, who had just stepped into the Immortal Realm a few years ago, be? However, just in case, the Xian people still sent a group of Immortal Realm experts. As long as they could successfully enter the profound yellow universe, they would be able to sweep the world. It's a little difficult. If we attack by force, it'll cause a big commotion. Now that many orthodoxies are exploring the profound yellow universe, it'll be troublesome if there's a big commotion here. The Xian people sent many grandmasters who were proficient in array Dao. They were famous in the immortal heavenly domain. However, they all looked serious. The Celestial Emperor's war flag was leading the seal of the profound yellow universe. When they tried to break the formation, the Celestial Emperor's war flag's law flowed with terrifying killing intent. This group of array Dao grandmasters could not calm down and study the profound yellow seal. Try your best. Xian Huiyu's face darkened. The Xian people did not want to share the secret of this place with other orthodoxies. Even if they succeeded, their chances of success were not high. If it doesn't work, Xian Huiyu suddenly said, "With your skills, you should be able to activate the battle platform in Emperor Road, right? Are you?" One of the array Dao grandmasters' expression changed slightly. "That's right." Xian Huiyu sneered. "As long as the battle platform can be activated, our young experts should be able to enter the battle platform. If Su Yan dares to come out and fight, just suppress him and throw him out. Our mission will be complete." Chapter 1346. The Emperor Road battle platform was of great importance. Although the Emperor Road was showing signs of opening, they had to control the entrance to the black-yellow universe to reopen the Emperor Road that had been sealed for 1,000,000 years. If they opened one of the Emperor Road's formation platforms in advance, it might even affect the Emperor ranking. It's not a problem to trigger the formation platforms in the Emperor Road, but do you think a small black-yellow universe dares to compete with the young immortal overlords of our race? The 5 formation Dao grandmasters shook their heads slightly. No one could interfere with the Emperor Road's formation platforms in the same realm. The problem was, would the young powerhouses of the black-yellow universe dare to stand out? It was almost impossible. Su Yan was not stupid. He would not stand out to court death. Now, the seal of the black-yellow universe was the only thing that could save their lives. This was precisely the reason why Xian Huiyu was worried. However, no matter what, they wouldn't give up on any opportunity to capture Su Yan. Right now, trying to break through the formation was their top priority. As long as they could find a loophole and send a group of elites to the lower realm, then the entire bound of universe would become their backyard. Let's try to break the formation. The 5 Formation Tao Grandmasters studied the seal of the black-yellow universe wholeheartedly. They could not see how strong the seal was from the universe. However, looking at the black-yellow universe from the void world outside the universe, it was like seeing billions of supreme laws intertwined together. The blood-red light was surging and blazing, containing shocking murderous intent. Once they looked into the sea of laws, it was like seeing billions of troops roaring. The murderous intent was earth-shattering. Even the Formation Tao Grandmasters could not calm down to break the formation. It's the powerhouses of the Xian people. We should not act rashly. On the other side of the void, a group of uninvited guests had also arrived. The leading experts whispered to each other, "This seal is extremely difficult to break. I think we should return to the clan and retrieve the primogenitor's item. We will definitely be able to enter the black-yellow universe smoothly." That's right. The Xian people will not allow a second force to participate, especially our race. Legend has it that our ancestor once followed the celestial emperor of the celestial court. Although it's just a rumor, the Xian people should know about it. Therefore, the Xian people will not agree to join forces with us to break the formation. I'll make a trip myself. Remember not to reveal your auras. Just wait quietly. The Sky Bamboo clan, which was famous in the undying heavenly domain, also wanted to enter the mysterious yellow universe. Their plan was very important to the clan, and they did not want a second force to know about it. Why do I feel that there are frequent movements in the depths of the universe? In Xianhuang universe, almost all the supreme powerhouses noticed that there was some movement in the outerverse. Although it was extremely weak, they all had a bad premonition. I hope it won't be too bad. Some people felt uneasy, as there were powerful races in the outerverse that were spying on Xianhuang universe. Once they broke through the seal, a bloody calamity would sweep across the entire universe. Is this day coming? Only a few years had passed. This is the second immortal realm expert in our universe. The old astral lord of Hokuto had a solemn expression, and then he whispered, "I wonder where Su Yen went. There are strange changes in the Savage Mountain, and the entire mountain is glowing day by day." Yuan went to the Savage Mountain to find his own path. I wonder if he has the chance to step into the immortal realm? The old astral lord could see the changes in the Savage Mountain at any time. He also hoped that the universe would have more than 10 immortal realm experts, or even more, to face the future calamity. They're coming. That's fast. The strange sounds in the universe's sealed land were detected by Su Yen once again. He clenched his fists, and the veins all over his body bulged. This was his blood boiling with anger. How many years had it been? Weren't they too anxious? "Senior, I want to go out. Our clan's universe is facing a great crisis." Su Yen could not calm down. Now that the old village head was in seclusion, Su Yen was the undisputed #1 powerhouse in the universe. Once the Xian people's immortal realm experts came, how could Su Yen be absent? Everyone could be absent from this battle, except for himself. "I want to go out." Su Yan's mood exploded. He said angrily, "Do you think we're so easy to bully? Do you think you can come and go as you please? Immortal realm experts have come to Xianhuang. I, Su Yan, am not afraid of you." He burst out with a powerful aura that spread out in all directions. This was his unwavering belief. However, no matter how he called, the skeleton did not respond. Su Yan's state of mind was in chaos. The owner of the skeleton would not let him leave. If he failed, he would die. The 3 stalks of grass were not just evolving sword intent. If he could not comprehend the sword intent, he would not be able to leave at all. If he tried to force his way in, he would most likely be killed by the 3 stalks of grass. I can't panic now. The commotion just now was not strong. They haven't torn the seal yet. Moreover, Big Brother strengthened the seal back then. It won't be that easy for them to break in. I still have time. I can't panic now. Su Yan's heart was as firm as iron. He gradually regained his composure, but killing intent surged in his body. Sword light leaked out of his pores involuntarily, cutting through the void. He stared at the 3 stalks of grass. Amidst the profound sword intent they released, Su Yan could immediately sort out his own path of sword intent. This commotion, in Zhang family village, the blacksmith suddenly stood up. Sounds came from the outer verse, like the footsteps of a death god approaching. The danger was getting closer and closer to Xianhuang universe, however. The footsteps that sounded like the arrival of a death god made the blacksmith's blood boil. They're here. In the past, we were powerless. We could only watch the old village chief and the others fight with their lives. But now, in a battle between immortal realm experts, we can't weaken the might of Xianhuang universe. The blacksmith rushed into the starry sky and took out a giant pitch-black hammer. It was like the hammer of a giant spirit. His entire being erupted with a bloody aura that soared into the heavens. Even though the old village chief was in life and death seclusion, the Zhang family village would definitely not be absent from this battle. They're here. In the past, Su Yan fought 5 immortal realm experts alone. It was difficult and he almost died in battle. He's going to shed his last drop of blood. I can't be absent from this battle. In the ancient savage mountain, in this temple, a majestic figure appeared. He sat in the temple, and his aura caused the supreme seals in the temple to shine and resonate with him. The endless seals leaked mysterious energy and penetrated Yuan's body. He seemed to be reorganizing the power of the war god. He was sure that this should be an ancient training ground of his prehistoric big brother. It contained his big brother's mysterious power. Now, Yuan had absorbed and refined it. He had also gone through endless trials of life and death. The path to immortality had begun. Chirp chirp. In an incomplete immortal realm, the ancient aura of a true phoenix flowed. The silver rooster's body glowed, and the power of his bloodline surged. A silver true phoenix rose behind him, spreading its wings and tearing the sky apart. The rooster seemed to be breaking out of its shell and transforming into a true phoenix to conquer the world. They're coming. The rooster let out a low roar, waking up Tensor. He suddenly stood up and rushed out of the incomplete immortal realm. He let out a long roar. I can finally come out of seclusion. The universe was changing, and all the major regions were surging with monstrous battle intent. In the ancient dragon city, the 9 true dragon heavenly gates were cracked one after another. The Baokai roared as it swallowed the moon. Its body erupted with the aura of a true dragon, and the power of 9 dragons revolved around the Baokai. Give me a little more time, and the 9 heavenly gates will be broken by me. The Baokai roared, and its treasured body released a terrifying true dragon energy. 9 layers of light screens exploded one after another. The waves rolled, and the might of immortality was vast and mighty. Once this 9-colored divine light appeared, how many experts of the same generation could compete with it? The 9 dragons were shocked. It could be said that the last remaining good fortune of Dragon City was completely swallowed by the Tai Baokai. Its bloodline was too extraordinary, and after fusing with the power of 9 dragons, it was destined to walk on an extraordinary path to immortality in the future. Of course, from now on, Dragon City would also cease to exist. Now, they hoped that the last descendant of Dragon City, Tai Baokai, would be able to conquer a place in the Emperor ranking in the future. Dong dong dong. In the ancient black-yellow universe, strange sounds echoed in the universe's starry sky. It was as if the footsteps of death were approaching. The black-yellow universe was shrouded in a layer of haze, and the atmosphere was oppressive. However, there were monstrous flames of war erupting in all the major domains. They represented black-yellow, as if they were saying that if this war came, they would not be absent because of this. Su Yan could hear it every time it made a sound. He even felt that the sound was getting louder and louder, and they were probably getting closer and closer to breaking the seal. These sounds stimulated the murderous aura inside Su Yan's body to become more and more intense. Finally, it formed a torrent of murderous aura. In the universe's starry sky, especially under the influence of the three-grass sword intent, this torrent of murderous aura seemed to be forming a sword that could destroy the world. Time slowly passed. Every day was extremely precious. With each passing month, Su Yan's aura became more and more terrifying. The immortal substance in his body was constantly boiling, surging with a terrifying sharpness. His body's temperament changed, as if it contained a murderous sword embryo, vaguely erupting with a power that could slay all immortals. Su Yan was like a ferocious dragon imprisoned in purgatory, constantly brewing murderous aura, wanting to break out of this prison and rush out. Boom! All of a sudden, Su Yan heard a thunderous roar. It was as if the sky had collapsed, and the great Tao had collapsed. The footsteps of the death god had arrived in black-yellow. In an instant, the entire universe seemed to have gone berserk. Terrifying wills rose from the barbaric mountain, Dragon City, the incomplete immortal realm, and the strongest training grounds. They would not be absent from this battle. They're here. Su Yan's eyes were vertical, like a murderous sword across the sky, cutting the void. Kill, in Su Yan's mind, there was only killing. Kill a path of blood, kill a path of survival, and tear the bloody sky apart. Buzz! The three stalks of grass glowed one after another, turning into a murderous sword. There were many types of sword wills, but the murderous sword was the most ferocious and domineering. The power released by the three stalks of grass penetrated Su Yan's flesh shell. At this moment, Su Yan's entire body surged with a vast sword aura. His body seemed to have turned into a sword embryo, cutting the sky and earth apart. The three stalks of grass, one after another, exploded one after another. Every stalk of grass, the scattered sword energy flowed into Su Yan's body, nourishing his entire body. For a moment, Su Yan's body was like an indestructible sword embryo that could slay all immortals in the world, proving his invincible great Tao. Boom! In the ruined world, a figure rose from the ground, blooming with a peerless sharpness. Behind Su Yan, a sword light that reached the heavens rose and tore through the sky. It was as if a sword dragon had emerged from the sea. It was steaming with a murderous aura that was like the sea and split open the sky. It contained a spiritual will that could cut through everything. It was extremely powerful. Murderous sword Tao. The skeleton woke up inside. I didn't expect it to be the murderous sword Tao. It seems like the heaven-destroying sword Tao is about to reappear in the world. I don't know if it's good or bad. Chapter 1347. In the ruined world, sword radiance surged and killing intent filled the air. All of this was because of one person, and it also triggered monstrous waves. This terrifying killing sword intent filled the air and tore apart the firmament. Clang! A dazzling sword embryo also came out of his body. It was as if it had shed its mortal body and flowed with world-shocking sharpness. The universe weapon also transformed in the end and turned into an immortal supreme treasure. It flowed with sword intent that could kill everything in the world and spread throughout the entire ruined land. Moreover, the sword resonated with Su Yan, causing his aura to skyrocket for a moment. Su Yan stood between heaven and earth, radiating sharpness. Close to 3 years had passed. Although his realm didn't increase by much, his entire person involuntarily bloomed with supreme intimidation. This was the demeanor of a peerless expert. Su Yan's deep eyes were filled with sword radiance. He broke through the 3 stalks of grass and finally comprehended sword intent. At this moment, he understood how powerful sword intent was. It had a terrifying effect on one's soul. Once it erupted, it would be in an invincible and shocking state. This is sword intent. Su Yan looked up to the sky and laughed. Sword radiance surged with every movement, containing a peerless attack. Although his realm didn't increase, Su Yan's combat strength skyrocketed. On the immortal path, he had obtained a super powerful trump card. Boom! Suddenly, a white bone hand came down from the sky and pressed directly on Su Yan's forehead. Wisps of ancient, and even extremely destructive power rushed towards Su Yan's primordial spirit. This was an extremely large amount of memories, and even contained a terrifying forbidden aura. It seemed that it shouldn't exist in this world. Ah! Su Yan clenched his fist. His soul was roaring and his whole body was trembling. This was because he felt that his primordial spirit was being torn apart and split apart tens of thousands of times. The pain was so intense that he almost fainted, but he held on. In fact, if Su Yan hadn't comprehended sword intent and strengthened his will, he definitely wouldn't have been able to hold on. Hold on, a gloomy voice sounded. The skeleton's large white bone hand continuously transmitted boundless memories, accompanied by terrifying destruction, even a forbidden aura. These memories were all imprinted in Su Yan's primordial spirit. It was very unbearable. If it was just an ordinary memory transfer, Su Yan wouldn't have to suffer so much. But now, the memories that the skeleton transferred to him were twisting his soul. His primordial spirit felt like it was being torn into many parts. What kind of heaven art is this? Su Yan's veins were bulging. It was not over yet, it was still going on. In fact, he even had the feeling that the heavenly art that the corpse was passing on to him was extremely terrifying and outrageous. It was as if it was not allowed to appear, nor could it be written down. It could only be passed down through his nascent divinity. The enormous amount of memories stabbed into Su Yan's primordial spirit like millions of swords. He didn't even know how much time had passed. Every breath felt so long. When it finally ended, Su Yan's body staggered. He couldn't stand steadily and fell to the ground, paralyzed. In particular, his primordial spirit was on the verge of shattering. One! The large white bone hand grabbed Su Yan and brought him to the broken Dao platform. The dilapidated Dao platform was very mysterious. It surged with a strange energy that nourished Su Yan's wounded primordial spirit, which was riddled with holes. Su Yan felt as if he had fallen asleep. When he woke up again, he was full of energy. Even his primordial spirit in his sea of consciousness had exploded. It was blazing hot, filled with immortal matter, and filled with terrifying soul fluctuations. Su Yan was shocked. His primordial spirit's cultivation had increased by a large margin. Originally, Su Yan's primordial spirit was not weak at all. It was considered a powerful primordial spirit in the immortal realm. But now that it had increased by a large margin, its aura was naturally shocking. This Dao platform is very powerful and inconceivable. Su Yan was moved. In the process of receiving the inheritance, his primordial spirit was damaged and the injuries were serious. It would definitely cause Su Yan's combat strength to decrease greatly. Moreover, injuries to the primordial spirit were extremely difficult to recover from and required a long time. But this broken Dao platform had healed Su Yan's primordial spirit and increased its aura. Then, what level of treasure was this broken Dao platform? Even the skeleton, did it survive because of the broken Dao platform? Su Yan's blazing primordial spirit contained a heaven-defying sutra. It was not a sutra. It was like sword embryos that were rooted in the depths of his primordial spirit. Each sword embryo was filled with unparalleled profoundness, and a terrifying aura of destruction rumbled. Heavenly Sword Dao Technique. Su Yan was excited. His soul consciousness entered the memory of the first sword embryo, and he studied the Heavenly Sword Dao technique in it carefully. When he touched it, he could feel the terrifying aura of destruction on a deeper level. No wonder the skeleton wanted to seal it in his primordial spirit. He felt that this sutra was extremely difficult to contain on paper or jade slips. When he touched the inheritance in the sword body, there were waves of sword cries. Every word was incomparably sharp, as if it had been carved by a sword in the void. One sword slaying immortals. The opening words shocked Su Yen. Slaying an immortal realm expert with a single sword strike, this aura was too majestic and imposing, yet it contained an earth-shaking killing power, as if it could slaughter all the immortal realm experts in the world. Moreover, it was not difficult for Su Yen to study the first part of the Heavenly Sword Dao technique. So the killing sword Dao in the 3 stalks of grass actually contains the profound meaning of one sword slaying immortals. Su Yen clenched his fists tightly. He had grasped one sword slaying immortals directly. Moreover, the heavenly technique that the skeleton had passed on to him was not just one move. The memories of the 4 sword embryos were rooted in Su Yan's soul. One sword slaying immortals was just the beginning. What kind of remarkable ability was this? The beginning required one to be in the immortal realm to cultivate. Su Yen wanted to touch the second memory inheritance. Unfortunately, Su Yen could not get it now. Only when he cultivated one sword slaying immortals to the pinnacle of the realm, or if he had some special qualifications, could he touch the next stage of the secret technique. Senior, thank you for your bestowment. I will not disgrace your name. Su Yen respectfully knelt on the ground and performed the etiquette of a disciple. The skeleton had taught him a shocking heavenly technique. Although it had never accepted him as a disciple, it was still half a teacher to Su Yen. Su Yen knelt 3 times and kowtowed 9 times. He was filled with respect and gratitude from the bottom of his heart. He had risked his life to explore the universe's secret realms in order to increase his strength. Now, his wish had come true thanks to the skeleton's gift. Remember, use the heaven-destroying sword doctrine carefully. The skeleton spoke in an ancient voice. This sword technique is fierce and domineering. If you use it too much, you will hurt yourself. You must not teach it to others. If anyone touches your memories, the 4 sword techniques will self-destruct and all your memories will disappear. I understand. I will not divulge any information about the inheritance. Su Yen clenched his fist. The heaven-destroying sword doctrine was such a domineering ultimate technique. With the name of heaven-destroying, could there be one sword slaying heaven? You may leave. I am going to sleep. The skeleton's voice was already very weak. Finally, a weak thought was transmitted. If you have the heart, find a disciple and bring him here. He can receive my inheritance. I will do my best. Su Yen nodded heavily. Finally, he bowed deeply and left respectfully. Soon, he left the dilapidated world. In the outside world, there were more important things waiting for Su Yen. The Chaos Ruins were now in an uproar. The major tribes were also frightened and uneasy. The universe disaster had come again. Although it had not broken the seal, the commotion was particularly shocking. Su Yen had just rushed out of the dilapidated world when he immediately caught sight of a huge battle platform that was suspended in the air not far away from him. And the destination was at the top of the abyss. This made Su Yen extremely surprised. What is that? Originally, Su Yen thought that there would be a bloody battle as soon as he came out of seclusion. In the end, things were beyond his expectations. The extraterrestrial powerhouses had come to the black-yellow universe, but it was different from what he had expected. A huge battle platform was floating above the abyss. The battle platform was too big, covering thousands of miles. It was made of bronze. He did not know what material it was made of, but it was full of ancient and desolate aura. This gave Su Yen a great shock. Could the battle platform have floated out from the abyss? At this time, Su Yen woke up the Golden Maiden and asked her what the battle platform was. This is the Emperor Road battle platform. The Golden Maiden's face turned pale. She took a closer look and finally said in a trembling voice, "The Xian people are really powerful. They can even summon the battle platform of the Emperor Road. It seems that they have a hard time breaking the seal of the black-yellow universe, So they are using the battle platform to let their race's powerhouses enter the black-yellow universe. What? The Emperor Road battle platform? Their race can use the Emperor Road to enter the black-yellow universe. Su Yan's eyes widened. Su Yan did not expect the Xian people to have such a method. He knew nothing about the Emperor Road, but the Xian people had a deep understanding of it. They knew how to summon the Emperor Road battle platform. But you don't have to worry. The Golden Maiden whispered, the seal of the bound yellow universe is still there. Although the Emperor Road battle platform can penetrate the seal and summon the immortal tribe's elites to the battle platform to compete for supremacy, they can never pass through the battle platform and come to your world. I see. I thought they could come to the black-yellow universe through the battle platform. Su Yan breathed a sigh of relief. Things were much better than he expected. As long as the Xian people's powerhouses could not barge in unscrupulously, the black-yellow universe would not suffer any losses. What's the point of the Xian people's powerhouses doing this? The Golden Maiden frowned and asked in confusion, are they trying to show off here? But the Xian people have always been strong. Your universe is so badly damaged. They should know that there won't be many powerhouses coming out. Could they have other plans? 4 generations, the battle on the Emperor Road battle platform was absolutely fair. Only those of the same realm could compete on the battle platform. Moreover, no one could interfere during the battle. Once on the battle platform, it was basically a fight to the death. Or rather, they can crush you and let the younger generation of the Xian people show off. After all, you were the immortal heavenly domain 1,000,000 years ago. The Golden Maiden muttered to herself. Su Yan glanced at the Golden Maiden. You are quite direct. Where are you going? The Golden Maiden was surprised because she saw Su Yan rushing up to the Emperor Road battle platform. Are you crazy? The Golden Maiden was burning with anxiety and said angrily, if you want to die, don't drag me down. Let me go. I don't want to go. Since the Xian people had opened the Emperor Road battle platform with great fanfare, the ones on the battle platform would definitely be the young powerhouses of the Xian people. Perhaps there would also be young overlords on the battle platform. Su Yan was only at the 4th level of the immortal realm. Every level of the immortal realm had a great disparity in strength. Once Su Yan stepped on the battle platform, he would face death. Even if Su Yan was an immortal overlord and could challenge those of a higher level, it would be difficult for him to challenge someone at the 8th or 9th level at most. However, if the Xian people had young overlords, how could Su Yan resist? You are my servant now. Are you not willing to stay by my side? Su Yan laughed. He was extremely fast and was getting closer to the Emperor Road battle platform. Damn it! The Golden Maiden was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She was not afraid of death, but the master behind her had great plans for the bound universe. She could not let the Xian people know about this secret. The cosmic weapon on Su Yan's back had already started to ring. The Xian people had come at the right time. Su Yan was looking for someone to test his sword, slaying an immortal in one strike. Su Yan also wanted to see how powerful the absolute art that he had spent nearly 3 years on was. Chapter 1348. Currently, a large number of Xianwang Universe's top experts had gathered near the floating Emperor Road battle platform. They were all powerful cultivators, and their hearts were burning with rage. Damn it, they cheated! Didn't we agree on a battle of the same level? What happened in the end? They're too shameless. What extraterrestrial overlords? What immortal sect orthodoxies that have been passed down for billions of years? They're nothing more than this. That's right. I thought the extraterrestrial experts were amazing, but the human sovereign hasn't even made a move yet. Our Xianwang Universe's valiant general has already broken the rules. What a joke. I feel embarrassed for you. The Xianwang Universe's experts couldn't calm down. On this battle platform, a young Xian people expert who had sealed his strength was being crushed by Blacksmith. Ignorant people. The young Xian people expert standing on the Emperor Road battle platform said coldly. His sealed aura instantly gushed out, and dense immortal matter filled the air. 6 layers of immortal matter came crashing down on Blacksmith. 6th firmament immortal realm. Blacksmith coughed up blood from the impact and staggered back. He had just stepped into the immortal realm, and he hadn't even stabilized his combat strength at the 1st firmament. Now that he was facing a 6th firmament immortal realm expert, he definitely couldn't withstand it. Although Blacksmith also relied on his own potential, he could at most go against a 3rd or 4th firmament expert in his current state. A puny 1st firmament immortal realm expert dares to stop me? What wishful thinking! Is there no one else in your Xianhuang universe? You sent a piece of trash to play with me. Xiandiyu placed his hands behind his back. He was majestic, and his immortal realm aura was vast. Once his 6th firmament power was awakened, he would suppress Blacksmith completely. Is this what you meant by a battle of the same level? How dare you say it out loud? Blacksmith clenched his fist. His burly body was steaming with vigorous blood energy. However, the immortal matter in his body was too thin. After all, he had just stepped into the immortal realm, and it would be difficult for him to reach the 1st firmament. However, Xiandiyu was a 6th firmament immortal realm expert. Although he relied on external forces to break through, his strength wasn't something Blacksmith could stop. However, Xiandiyu didn't kill him. He was waiting. He had also come with a mission. Their target was Su Yan, and nothing else was important. Even though Xiandiyu had been astonished by the fact that the Blacksmith had unearthed immortal potential through his own efforts, such a hero should have been killed directly. However, the bigger picture was more important. It was said that Su Yan had caught the attention of the higher-ups of the Xian people. He had to be captured and brought back to the tribe. Are you convinced? Xiandiyu clasped his hands behind his back and looked down at the Blacksmith condescendingly. He said coldly, I can give you a chance. I won't kill you. As long as you submit to me, you can keep your life on the Emperor Road battle platform. F***ck your mother. Blacksmiths were firm and unyielding, and they were filled with a bloody aura. Every single one of them had relied on their own strength to break through, and every single one of them was a ruthless and bold expert. So, how could they possibly yield before Xiandiyu? I think you're courting death. Xiandiyu's eyes exploded with divine light. The 6 layers of undying matter within him roared out, and a terrifying destructive force descended from the heavens. Then, he lifted his foot and stomped down on the Blacksmith. Roar! The Blacksmith let out a roar. The undying matter within his body burned, and a vigorous power of vitality erupted. Although he was only at the 1st heaven and had only broken through not too long ago, he had still relied on his own strength to break through. It was not that easy to suppress him. Uncle Blacksmith, I'll help you. Tensor, who had been silent all this time, suddenly woke up. He charged over from a corner of the Emperor Road battle platform. Only the 3 of them were left on the huge battle platform. Tensor had not made a move all this while. Now, he could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. How could he sit still when his family's elders were being humiliated? You 2 pieces of trash, come and accept your death together. Xiandiyu's aura was powerful. He clasped his hands behind his back and lifted a foot. He was about to suppress the Blacksmith and Tensor. If we're trash, you're worse than a dog. You relied on your undying matter to mature your body to reach the immortal realm. What do you have to be so proud of? Tensor shouted coldly. His body was also tall and sturdy, and he looked valiant and extraordinary. Xiandiyu's face was dark. He was so angry that his body was trembling slightly. He was trying his best to restrain himself. His foot glowed and he stomped down. It was as heavy as 1,000,000 mountains lined up, and his strength was extremely shocking. Haha, are you angry from embarrassment? Isn't it just a 6th heaven immortal realm cultivator? Let this daddy have a taste of your skills. Tensor released his aura and soared into the sky. Along the way, the void shattered. His aura also began to dissipate layer by layer. Finally, an immeasurable amount of energy burst out. Immeasurable! Immeasurable! This was accompanied by a deafening explosion. As a third heaven, Tensor's aura was definitely not inferior to that of a sixth heaven. In fact, when combined with the immeasurable amount of energy, the Tensor's aura was extremely powerful. Not good. Xiandiu's face changed. Tensor's aura was too domineering. It struck the sole of his foot that was stepping on the blacksmith. This was equivalent to being chopped in human form. Xiandiu roared in pain. His entire foot was distorted, and there were even cracks. Bones could be seen. Pooh! He coughed up blood. One of his legs was crippled, and he almost fell to the ground. Another expert who relied on his own strength to break through. How is this possible? Relying on one's own strength to excavate the immortal potential is as difficult as ascending to the heavens. How could a small Xian Huang universe produce 3 of them? Xiandiu's face turned green. Although this used to be the immortal celestial domain, the current Xian Huang universe was severely damaged. It couldn't even be considered a complete universe. But how could their lineage produce immortal realm experts who relied on their own strength to break through? Even among the Xian people, there were only a limited number of such people. But now, Xiandiu had seen 2 of them. If Su Yan was included, then Xianhuang universe had a total of 3 such experts. According to probability, even in a flourishing universe, it was already quite amazing for several of such experts to appear in a single era. But how many years had it been since Xianhuang universe's environment returned? What a Xianhuang universe! It's truly beyond my expectations. In the outer verse, a group of Xian people was entrenched in the void. Their auras were ancient and powerful. The light of the immortal Tao blossomed. Without a doubt, this was a group of experts with the immortal Tao domain. One of them sneered. This race most likely obtained the treasures of the ancient celestial court. It's possible that they also left behind some training grounds. Otherwise, it's impossible for such experts to appear one after another. This is truly beyond my expectations. The current Tensor and the blacksmith naturally couldn't be considered immortal overlords. But if their cultivation levels increased, they would definitely become immortal overlords in the future. Few people in their generation would be able to match them. If our race obtains Xianhuang universe, it'll be equivalent to obtaining a priceless treasure. Xian Huiyu also felt the same way. He sneered. Since 2 of them have stepped forward, Su Yan will also be unable to hold himself back and step forward. I'm really afraid that they'll be cowards. I think the flames of this furnace will only get stronger and stronger. Ha ha, let's wait and see. The group of Xian people's experts laughed. There was no suspense at all. The Xian people also had their own overlords here. How could they not be able to suppress Su Yan? Emperor Road's battle arena was a battle of the same level. If Su Yan dared to fight in the arena, he would definitely suffer. Although the Emperor Road's battle arena could limit one's cultivation level, there was a limit to one's cultivation level. The Emperor Road's battle arena did not have much of a limit on the number of participants. This was also the cruelest thing. After all, this battle arena would determine the young overlords who could dominate an entire continent. Uncle Blacksmith, leave the rest to me. On the Emperor Road's battle arena, Tensor attacked fiercely once again. Although he was only at the 3rd firmament of the immortal realm, his current state was not inferior to a 6 firmament's combat strength. He dashed forward, raised a large hand, and struck out. Good boy, it's up to you now. Blacksmith laughed. He did not expect Tensor to step into the immortal realm and even cultivate to the 3rd firmament of the immortal realm. Blacksmith was naturally excited. He did not know what the Xian people's intentions were. However, they had set up a battle arena to challenge the Xianhuang universe's immortal realm expert. If they did not accept the challenge, the Xianhuang universe's reputation would be tarnished. If even the strongest of them did not dare to accept the challenge, it would be a great humiliation to the universe's tribes. However, just as Tensor's big hand was about to touch Xiandiu's body, it was also at this time that a resplendent light descended from the sky, containing a peerlessly powerful undying aura. Bam! Tensor's palm was blocked in an instant. There's someone else, Tensor was shocked. He looked at the outer space and saw that another expert had descended and entered the battle arena. Tensor's big hand instantly burned brightly. His palm enlarged, and immeasurable power was generated to block the second Xian people's attack. However, things went beyond everyone's expectations. The third Xian people's expert appeared. His figure tore through the void, and he threw a punch at Tensor's head. Shameless! Everyone in the Xianhuang universe was furious. The Xian people immediately sent out 2 Immortal Realm experts to attack Tensor together. Tensor's body was burning with immeasurable light, and his aura was violent. But right now, he was facing 2 powerful experts from the Celestial Tribe. Even the limping Xiandiu had taken action. He raised his hand and slashed at Zhang Liang. Who could stand against the 3 experts working together? In an instant, Zhang Liang's entire body trembled violently. His entire body was in danger of exploding. He angrily said, "How shameless! Isn't this supposed to be a battle between equals? Is this what you call a battle between equals? Do you not know how to write the word honor? It seems like you don't understand the rules of the Emperor Road battle arena. Whoever can stay in the battle arena for the longest time will be the winner. You piece of trash. You're complaining when there are only 3 of you. If you can't do it, just get out of here. Let the strongest expert of your tribe come out and fight." Sanchong's expression was cold as he looked down on Zhang Liang. What rules? They were the plunderers now. They were the ones who set all the rules. I don't know where you get your sense of superiority from. What right do you have to humiliate them by relying on materials to mature your body? At this moment, a man in white stepped through time and space and entered the Emperor Road battle arena. It was also at this moment that Su Yan's battle blood was boiling. It was affected by the Emperor Road battle arena. It seemed to be extraordinarily powerful. "Who are you?" Xiandiu and the other 2 experts looked gloomy. Su Yan's words had hurt them. After all, only by relying on one's own strength would one be valued by the Xian people. It would be easier to reach the immortal realm in the future. Unfortunately, they were not that kind of people. Su Yan, the Tensor and the blacksmith were pleasantly surprised. Their blood was boiling. Since Su Yan had come out, Baokai and the others would be here soon. "You're Su Yan." Xiandiu and the others were pleasantly surprised. Their eyes were burning. It was as if they had seen their prey. At this moment, the 3 experts' auras exploded. They were at their peak as they charged toward Su Yan. "As expected, they're coming for me. Then I'll use them to test my sword." Su Yan's eyes emitted a cold light. His aura was completely different. Sword chi rose from the ground, and his entire person was like a heavenly sword. Boom! Su Yan raised his palm and transformed it into the shape of a sword. He slashed forward, and a sword ray that was tens of thousands of feet long burst forth. It was incomparably dazzling, like a river of stars, and rushed toward the 3 experts. Chapter 1349. Tens of thousands of sword rays surged and split the sky. Su Yan's palm was dazzling and blazing. The sword chi that shot out was so dazzling that it was like a river of stars in the sky. His move confused the blacksmith. Su Yan wasn't a sword cultivator, so why did he use the power of the sword the moment he appeared? Could it be? The blacksmith's heart was filled with anticipation. Perhaps Su Yan had unearthed a sword Dao divine ability when he was exploring the primal chaos ruins. Perhaps he had been bitterly cultivating this secret technique for the past few years. After all, Xianhuang was lacking in resources. Right now, only divine abilities and secret techniques could increase their battle prowess. This is the strongest expert of Xuanhuang's younger generation? I think he's just SOSO. Human Emperor? Bullsh *T Human Emperor. Xian Diyu and the other two experts laughed angrily as they circulated their auras to the extreme. They were all level 6 undying experts, and their auras were exceptionally powerful. The divine power within their bodies resonated, and a storm of immortal matter erupted, suppressing Su Yen. Boom! During this process, the sword qi that was tens of thousands of feet long twisted violently, as if it would explode at any moment. The strength of the three experts was even more barbaric and violent. They wanted to forcefully split apart the sword qi and approach Su Yen. It would be best if they could suppress him in one move and bring him out of Xianhuang. However, just as Xian Diyu and the other two came into contact with the sword qi, they felt a chill run down their spines, and a trace of fear rose in their hearts. This was because the sword qi that was tens of thousands of feet long had been revived, as if it had a spiritual will. Not good, this is sword intent. Xian Diyu and the other two experts felt their scalps go numb. Su Yen had actually comprehended sword intent. One had to know that this kind of person possessed unparalleled offensive power at the same level. This was the ultimate battle prowess that only a young overlord should have. However, they had already fallen deep into the sword qi world, and it was already impossible for them to retreat. Boom! The sword qi that was tens of thousands of feet long surged violently. Once the murderous sword Dao aura was released, it was as if a purgatory space had been born. The strands of sword qi became extremely shocking, and their sharpness was peerless. They could easily cut apart the immortal divine light that protected their bodies. The three experts' reactions were naturally fast, and they did their best to defend. However, once the sword qi started boiling, the murderous sword intent began to circulate, and the time and space became distorted. The terrifying destructive sword intent attacked the three experts, and their bodies were dyed red. Ah! The three experts roared as their bodies were about to be torn apart. They unleashed their strongest powers in the desperate situation and used their greatest abilities to resist the sword intent. However, how could Su Yen give them the time to do so? He had already closed the distance between them. Flames surged from his fingers, and 5 layers of sword qi surged out, slashing toward Xian Diyu. Roar! Xian Diyu let out a furious roar, and his Dharma idol appeared behind him. Then, he activated his Celestial Dao Sutra and formed a fist seal with his palm. Then, he punched toward Su Yen. Boom! Su Yan's palm was surrounded by 5 layers of sword light. It was dazzling, and it cut through space. Even the sword intent fluctuations that were released were about to cut down the entire sky. Bang! This palm strike was unstoppable. Xian Diyu's entire palm shattered, torn apart by the sword intent. The 5th level sword intent even traveled along his arm and quickly spread into Xian Diyu's body. No! Xian Diyu released a heart-wrenching cry. During this process, he was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. The sword intent had invaded his body, and even affected his soul. What kind of sword Dao was this? Why was he so domineering? Su Yen shouted coldly. His aura became more and more violent and ferocious. Even the vast space around him trembled. Finally, the entire black-yellow universe erupted into an uproar. The human emperor, who had calmed his battle blood for several years, had returned once again. He had stepped onto the Emperor Road battle platform in a shocking manner, and he had attacked 3 Immortal Realm cultivators at the same time. Uncle Blacksmith, how did this freak Su Yen comprehend sword intent? Moreover, his offensive power is truly freakish. Even 6th Heavenly Layer cultivators found it difficult to defend against his sword intent. Their protective divine light was torn apart. Tensor was dumbfounded. He knew that Su Yen had always been a freak. Even Iron Rooster had told him that Su Yen had killed all the Immortal Realm cultivators in the Black-Yellow universe who had been struggling at death's door for 1,000,000 years. How would I know? Su Yen wasn't proficient in Sword Dao before, and he didn't walk this path. The blacksmith scratched his head and said, "He must have encountered some kind of opportunity." Su Yen disappeared for more than 2 years. Could it be that he was practicing an absolute art all this time? A Sword Dao mystical ability that could make him give up 2 years of cultivation must be incredible. Tensor also nodded. They had all witnessed Su Yan's growth. Logically speaking, it was impossible for Su Yen to switch to Sword Dao. However, they didn't understand the beginning sutra. It was all-encompassing and encompassed all great Daos. From the moment Su Yen attacked until now, everything had happened too quickly. Su Yan's battle stance was even more ferocious. Finally, tens of thousands of streaks of sword chi filled the sky. Although Su Yen couldn't transform a skeleton into a supreme killing force like a blade of grass, he could still do it. He had used his body as a sword, releasing tens of thousands of streaks of sword chi, and slashed the 3 Xian people cultivators. Pooh! One cultivator after another was in so much pain that they wished they were dead. The sword intent had entered their bodies, and their souls were in danger of shattering. Xiandiyu was the first to succumb. His body was riddled with holes, and his soul had been extinguished by Su Yan's slashes. The other 2 Xian people cultivators were also severely injured. They spat out mouthfuls of blood, and their bodies felt like they were being torn apart. They wished they could die immediately because their souls had been cruelly injured. They were going to be tortured to death by Su Yan's killing Sword Dao. The killing Sword Dao was to enter the Sword Dao through killing. Once this sword intent was fully cultivated, it would evolve into a world of killing. Once one's soul was affected, they would definitely be trapped by the world of killing. This was actually a spiritual attack, and it could even be used to intimidate others. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, 3 streaks of brilliant light shone brightly, awakening in the space-time outside the domain. One figure after another charged into the Emperor Road battle platform from the space-time outside the domain. Those who came were all cultivators of the Xian people. The moment their auras were awakened, their 8 levels of immortal godly strength surged out. Their strength far surpassed that of Xiandiyu and the others. Every time an immortal realm cultivator advanced a level, their battle power would increase exponentially. This was especially true for the later stages, where their strength would increase exponentially. Now, 3 immortal realm cultivators at 8th heaven had appeared at the same time. As soon as they attacked, they formed seals and attacked Su Yan's world of sword intent. They wanted to save the lives of the other 2 immortal realm cultivators. However, it was useless. Su Yan was extremely experienced in battle. Just as they stepped onto the Emperor Road battle platform, he had already made his move, suppressing the 2 Xian people cultivators and taking them away. Bam! At the same time, a sky full of sword rays exploded, blocking the 3 Xian people cultivators' path. Their faces were gloomy as they glared at Su Yan. They growled, "B*****, how dare you kill one of our Xian people? Even the lives of your entire universe won't be enough to pay for this." Although Xiandiyu had relied on external forces to break through, an immortal realm cultivator was still an important force to the Xian people. Moreover, the Emperor Road would open at any time. Losing an immortal realm cultivator was equivalent to cutting a piece of flesh from the Xian people. Threatening me? You've come to the wrong place. Su Yan raised his palm and destroyed their primordial spirits one after another. Su Yan's palm even glowed. In an extremely short amount of time, he activated the body nurturing technique and stole a huge amount of immortal substance from the 3 cultivators' bodies. The rolling immortal substance floated in Su Yan's palm. This was a cultivation resource that everyone dreamed of. "What are you doing?" The 3 8th heaven cultivators were so angry that their faces turned green. Who dared to do this? Su Yan had forcefully extracted the immortal matter from their bodies. Actually, the value of an immortal's corpse was extremely high. The main reason was because of the immortal matter essence within their bodies. However, Su Yan had directly plundered them clean. Su Yan was even looking forward to the Xian people bringing him more immortal substance. Su Yan swallowed one of the 3 balls of immortal substance. If it was not for the fact that he needed time to refine the immortal substance to nourish his body, Su Yan would have swallowed all 3 balls at once to increase his combat strength. As for the other 2 balls, he directly sent them into the Tensor and Blacksmith's bodies. Tensor was still fine. He was already at the 3rd heavenly layer, so the immortal substance could not help him tear through the barrier. However, Blacksmith's body was glowing like a furnace. His entire body was itching unbearably. However, his evolution speed was crazy. His originally small amount of immortal substance rapidly increased. Delightful, delightful! Blacksmith let out a long roar. His entire body surged with immortal substance. A powerful aura leaked out. He felt as if he had stabilized a 1st heavenly layer. He's really tired of living. He even dares to kill the Xian people and steal immortal substance to increase his own strength. What does he take us Xian people for? In outer space, Xian Huiyu and the others had gloomy expressions. They never thought that they would lose 3 immortal realm cultivators just because Su Yan had appeared. Bastard! Xian Huiyu was furious as well. His eyes flashed with coldness as he shouted, "Originally, I did not want to send any experts to participate in the battle because I was worried that Su Yan and the others would be shocked. However, I did not expect him to have comprehended sword intent. However, this is nothing. Everything can end now. The few of you get ready." Xian Huiyu glanced at the impatient level 9 immortal realm cultivators and said coldly, "Qing Yi and the other 2, if you seize the opportunity, you can suppress Su Yan immediately. When the time comes, you can rush in. Remember, you must suppress Su Yan. Everything else is not important. The main thing is to suppress Su Yan and bring him back. That will be a great contribution. We will follow Elder's orders. We will not disappoint Elder." The group of Xian people immortal realm cultivators nodded. In fact, they were also furious. They had sent over a dozen immortal realm cultivators. If they charged in together, they could completely intimidate the mysterious yellow universe. However, in order to not alarm Su Yan and the others, they could only wait for an opportunity. "You barbarians, how dare you humiliate the Xian people? You deserve to die." Xian Qing Yi and the other 2 level 8 immortal realm cultivators were livid. Su Yan and the others had already started refining the immortal substance to increase their strength. This was a great humiliation. When had the Xian people ever suffered such a loss? They were being treated as a tonic. Su Yan's eyes glowed green as he stared at Xian Qing Yi and the others. His heart was pounding. Level 8 immortal realm cultivators were already very strong. If he could capture one alive and extract the immortal substance, Su Yan estimated that he would be very close to level 5 immortal realm. Now, he was about to refine the immortal substance that he had devoured and nourished Su Yan's body. It was even strengthening his immortal foundation. One had to admit that this was a shortcut to increasing his strength quickly. In Su Yan's eyes, they were 3 immortal herbs. What's with that look? Xian Qing Yi and the other 2 immortal realm cultivators were furious. Could it be that Su Yan still wanted to steal their immortal substance? My world is lacking in resources. Many thanks to fellow Xian people for coming to deliver this tonic. Su Yan's tone was deep. His words angered Xian Qing Yi and the others. He said, "You arrogant thing. If I don't skin you alive, my surname is not Xian." Chapter 1350. The 3 Xian people's 8th firmament immortal realm experts Aura's sword. They were experts who were infinitely close to the peak of the immortal realm. Even if they relied on external forces to mature their bodies, once they recovered, The divine power storm they triggered would be unparalleled. Boom! The sky was filled with immortal storms. One after another, they surged violently and shattered the void. In fact, if the Emperor Road battle platform was not indestructible, their auras alone would be enough to tear apart the vast territory and cause terrible damage to the bound of universe. However, no matter how strong they were, the Emperor Road battle platform was indestructible. This battle platform was enough to withstand the battles of young overlords. It had once been a battlefield where supreme experts fought for supremacy. Then, let me, a lowly being from the universe, see how strong you tonics are. Su Yan's eyes flashed coldly. He had the ambition to devour the galaxy and looked down on the Emperor Road battle platform. Although the 3/8 Firmament Immortal Realm experts were comparable to Su Yan's 4th Firmament Immortal Energy, their combat strength was not inferior to any of them. Ignorant barbarian, come and die! Xian Qing Yi roared angrily. The 3 great experts pressed forward with overwhelming auras. Even their vigorous immortal energy began to resonate. For a moment, the scene of immortal energy shooting up to the sky was shocking. Su Yan, Tensor and Blacksmith wanted to step forward, but Su Yan stopped them. He told them to refine the immortal substance as soon as possible. There would be a great battle waiting for them. Since the Xian people had come, they would not be weak. There must be many immortal realm experts. However, since their target was him, they would most likely not reveal their trump cards in a short time. Su Yan was well aware of this. Since the Xian people thought of him as a pushover, Su Yan would go all out in this battle. His entire body was burning with sword light that could defy heaven and earth. Boom! He swung his fist. It seemed simple, but it actually contained the will of the killing sword Dao. Against the 3 of them, Su Yan would not use the Immortal Slayer. He would save this trump card for the Xian people's young overlords. Xian people wouldn't feel any heartache if Xian Qingyi and the others were killed. However, if they were to kill a young overlord, the significance would be completely different. The Xian people would definitely feel the pinch. The death of any overlord would be a heavy loss to the entire race. Thousands upon thousands of sword beams shot out from Su Yan's fists. They contained a terrifying sword intent that cut through the void. Boom! The storm of immortal energy that filled the sky was torn apart by the sword light. Xian Qingyi and the others knew that Su Yan wasn't so easy to deal with. An expert who had comprehended sword intent would be able to kill at the same level. Attack! Just as the sword light shattered the energy in the sky, Immortal Qingye and the other 2 powerhouses roared. Their auras changed, transforming into 3 energy vortexes. As their auras gushed out, they formed a domain world that connected the heavens and the earth. Su Yan could tell that this was a formation Dao domain, a joint attack technique. His expression immediately changed, and he became very angry. What do you think? The majestic domain world was formed by the immortal order. It could seal off the sky and the earth, isolating the Emperor Road battle platform. It was equivalent to forming a world of its own. Xian Qingyi saw Su Yan's expression change. His expression was cruel. With the 3 of us working together, even an expert at the peak of the immortal realm won't be able to break through it easily. You're just a mere level 4. Let's see how you're going to break through it. Su Yan. Tensor's expression changed slightly, and he wanted to rush over to help. My heart hurts. Su Yan shook his head slightly and said, the immortal substance in your bodies is very abundant. Using such a method to set up a domain must have consumed a lot of immortal substance. My heart hurts. You. Xian Qingyi and the other 2 were so angry that their faces and necks turned red. They were so angry that they couldn't say a word. Tensor and the blacksmith were also speechless. However, the more relaxed Su Yan was, the heavier their hearts felt. This battle would be very difficult, and all kinds of unpredictable changes might occur. I'm angry, Su Yan roared. He allowed the vast domain to press down on him, but he was not afraid. Who was he? A grandmaster of the occult arts, a mere domain technique. In Su Yan's eyes, it was full of loopholes. Come and accept your death. Su Yan's entire body glowed. His body was like a sword, and the beginning sutra had evolved into 10,000 daos. In the state where his body was like a universe, Su Yan's body was like a universe sword. The moment his chest rose and fell, his entire body erupted with sword rays that were tens of thousands of feet long. Suppress. Xian Qingyi and the other two experts swallowed the starry sky. The moment the domain was activated, a terrifying aura spread out and the void trembled. If one looked closely, they would see dense immortal order covering every inch of the void, and it was quickly spreading towards Su Yan. The moment the domain covered the sky, all kinds of terrifying phenomena were born. Chaos filled the sky, the sun and the moon rotated, and there were also immortal order combinations. Everything was even burning, releasing a destructive power. Break. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the blurry domain. It was like a sword dragon emerging from the sea. Sword rays spewed out of his pores, containing shocking destructive power. Bam, bam, bam. The vast immortal force field had many big holes in it. The weak areas of the force field had collapsed. Their joint attack had defeated Su Yan in just one move. He broke through our combined attack. Xian Qingyi and the others' faces were ugly. How could he find the weak areas of the domain and break it so quickly? Su Yan was a Tier 8 Grandmaster of occult art. Even the Immortal Clan's Array Grandmaster could not compare to him. Using his strength to tear apart the field, he was like a ferocious dragon that had escaped from its cage as he charged towards the experts of the three Immortal Clans. Medicine, come! Su Yan's voice was like thunder, and the sound waves were like thunder, penetrating the ears of the three experts. The three experts were so angry that smoke was about to come out of their nostrils. They couldn't stand Su Yan's words, and charged forward together. However, the sound waves that filled the sky continued to roll. Su Yan's chest rose and fell violently. Roars exploded one after another, accompanied by a terrifying airflow that gushed out from his mouth and nose. Boom! Like thousands of killing swords, the gushing sound waves were like the sea, and rapidly magnified, as if they were going to crush the sky. It wasn't just one sound wave, but dozens of violent sound waves. They turned into tens of thousands of sword chi, and appeared in front of them. Xian Qingyi and the other two trembled, and blood spurted out of their mouths. They even felt that the world had changed. A terrifying soul aura filled the air, and the sky and earth were abnormally cold. Oh no, his primordial spirit is at the peak of the immortal realm. The three experts were shocked. Moreover, Su Yan had fused his sword will into his primordial spirit, and projected a spiritual deterrence. In a short time, their chi and blood were shaken, and their minds were in chaos. Ah! One of them let out a shrill scream. This was a palm that slapped over and hit his chest, causing his body to spurt out blood and his sternum to shatter. Moreover, he was slapped by Su Yan to the side of blacksmith. Another person also screamed. One of his arms was cut off, and then he was kicked away by Su Yan, landing at the back of the battlefield. Medicine, come! Su Yan said coldly. The Xian people were thinking too much if they wanted to trap him with 3 level 8 experts. If he went on a killing spree and attacked with all his strength, he could destroy the 3 of them in one strike. Xian Qingyi was about to go crazy. They were being humiliated, and they were being treated as supplements. Just as Su Yan's palm was about to pinch Xian Qingyi's throat, he felt a chill run down his spine. His hair stood on end, and he felt a sense of danger. Su Yan wanted to retract his palm, but it was too late. Xian Qingyi's primordial spirit suddenly took out a bronze ring, and it followed Su Yan's palm, and almost instantly locked his body. Kiki, you're dead meat. Xian Qingyi laughed sinisterly. Chaos bronze ring, suppress! Su Yan roared. His body burned fiercely, and he erupted with his strongest power to destroy the Chaos Bronze Ring. However, the Chaos Bronze Ring glowed, and the order of chaos lingered around it. In an instant, it became much stronger. The Chaos Bronze Ring directly locked Su Yan's body and the human body treasure that was trying to trap him. Roar! Su Yan let out an angry roar, and it was like a human-shaped dragon that was burning. His aura was terrifying, and it caused the Chaos Bronze Ring to tremble. His human body treasure was burning fiercely, and it was boiling. It was so strong that the Chaos Bronze Ring was about to explode. Little immeasurable! Su Yan roared, and his body enlarged again. He wanted to use his unparalleled strength to destroy the Chaos Bronze Ring's suppression. Although weapons could be used in the Emperor Road battle platform, they could not exceed the Immortal series. Therefore, although the Chaos Bronze Ring was powerful, it could not suppress Su Yan's physique. Oh no, what are you waiting for? Xian Qingye was shocked. This was the Chaos Bronze Ring. If a peak Immortal Realm expert's body was suppressed, he would be like a toothless tiger. However, Su Yan was about to burst it. As the little immeasurable secret art was activated, Su Yan's body enlarged, and cracks appeared on the Chaos Bronze Ring. It was also at this moment that terrifying figures descended to the lower realm one after another. Their auras devoured the sea of stars, and they were filled with terrifying life auras. They were much stronger than the 3/8 heaven experts. These were definitely peak Immortal Realm experts descending to the lower realm one after another. Naturally, those who descended first would not let go of this golden opportunity. They stretched out their huge hands and suppressed Su Yan. Break! At the critical moment, Su Yan roared. His body rippled with boundless strength, and the Chaos Bronze Ring instantly shattered. However, the peak Immortal Realm experts' huge hands also covered Su Yan's body. There were 3 huge hands burning with the light of order, and they suppressed Su Yan. Pooh! Su Yan coughed out a mouthful of blood. After all, he had suffered some injuries when he burst the Chaos Bronze Ring. Now that the 3 peak Immortal Realm experts had attacked, Su Yan's body trembled. He borrowed the terrifying rebound force and flew out. Not good. Suppress him quickly. Xian Huiyu's face contorted in anger. He had not expected Su Yan to be able to hold on and even cause the primal Chaos Copper Ring to explode. This was a trump card that was meant to trap Su Yan. Who would have thought that he would directly cause the primal Chaos Copper Ring to explode? Moreover, Su Yan would be frightened and leave the battlefield. If that happened, all their efforts would be wasted. You won't be able to escape. This is your destiny. In the great Xian Huang universe, you are the only expert. How sad. Give in, this is your destiny. The 3 peak sempiternal realm experts were powerful and confident. They stretched out their large hands and pressed down on Su Yan, who was flying away. Their hands were dazzling and magnificent. They would never give Su Yan any chance to escape. Escape? Su Yan's eyes were cold. If he did not kill a few immortal overlords, how could he leave? Boom! All of a sudden, an aura as ferocious as the great desolation rushed into the battlefield. Su Yan, who seemed to be flying out, was carried on the back of a golden panda. The Tai Baokai, which was covered in golden holy light, suddenly soared to the top of the sky. The 3 peak Immortal Realm experts' faces were cold. How could there be another Immortal Realm expert? The Tai Baokai raised its huge head. No, it lowered its head and looked down at them. It roared, "A few small fries dare to show off in front of this beast god? I will make you kneel and submit to me later. You are courting death." The 3 peak Immortal Realm experts' faces were gloomy. One of them stared at the Tai Baokai and said coldly, "It is just a beast. There is no need to worry about it. Since it did not escape from the battlefield, we still have a chance to suppress it." How pitiful! At such a critical moment, you have to rely on a beast to suppress the situation. Another peak Immortal Realm expert said mercilessly, "Black-yellow universe, let it be. If you continue to struggle, what dignity do you have? You are worse than pigs and dogs. In my eyes, you are just a group of lowly barbarians from the universe. These cruel words reverberated between heaven and earth, and even spread out of the Emperor Road's battle arena. Countless black-yellow universe experts were upset, but their blood was boiling. They wanted to join the battle. If Su Yen had stepped into the peak immortal realm, more than a dozen immortal realm experts would have walked out of the black-yellow universe. They would not have been humiliated today. Who says there is no one in our universe? A cold voice suddenly exploded. In the distant world, one figure after another crossed time and space. They were burning with anger as they drove toward the Emperor Road's battle arena. Night had already fallen, but between the heavens and the earth, they were rendered bright and resplendent, even surging with the flames of war. This was the spirit and willpower that courageously advanced. They were going to participate in a battle that they would not miss.